Game On. Presented by Bank of Hawaii.
And a very pleasant good evening from Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, where tonight it is senior night and a large crowd will be on hand as Hawaii looks to repeat last night's performance against the Gauchos of UC Santa Barbara. And this is Game On, presented by Bank of Hawaii for Rainbow Warrior Volleyball. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this Saturday evening. I'm Scott Robbs, along with Lisa Strand and Ryan Kalei-Suji. Well, it's senior night, the final regular season home match of the year, and another big matchup for the Bows as they once again face off against the Gauchos. A repeat of last night, and last night Hawaii winning that one in 3. As we take a look at the numbers from that one, guys, Hawaii won in 3, but it was the last 2 matches were more difficult.
Yeah, and you can tell how close it was in moments by looking at the stat sheet, looking at just some of the numbers overall. Very similar. Hawaii putting a little more pressure from behind the service line. Those 6 aces last night.
That's right, and Hawaii really snuck away with that last match. It could have went either way. The Gauchos from Santa Barbara came storming back and really were very competitive.
All right, let's take a look at some of the highlights from an evening ago. We start off with Jakob Tella.
And Jakob Tella, so stellar from the back line. 2 service aces, just bombs away, distributing the ball as well as he has all year long. His leadership is something just phenomenal.
And he also had a couple of service aces, Ryan.
And Ryan Wilcox really the leader for his team last night. 15 kills, hitting 229. Struggled a little bit at the beginning, but really turned it on at the end of the match. When the Gauchos needed him, they almost went to him exclusively.
And Spiros Hawkins continues to dominate from all angles of the court. 2 service aces as well, pounding balls from the left front from the Bic. 11 kills, leading the team in kills.
And the coaching staff very happy to see Dimi having a stellar night last night. 10 kills with no errors, hitting 500. A complete turnaround from his performance last week at Long Beach. The opposite really showed up last night and helped Hawaii in some very critical situations, getting them out of some out-of-system plays.
So a very good win for the Bows last night. Let's take a look at the scoreboard in the Big West tonight. And how about that? An upset right off the bat. UC San Diego upsets Long Beach State in 5, and then UC Irvine sweeps CSUN. So we'll take a look at the up-to-date standings. There you see Long Beach State sitting at 6-1, though. That's not right. Is that right?
6-2.
Yeah, I was going to say, okay. Hawaii's at 4-3, and UC Santa Barbara at 5-3. If Hawaii can win tonight, they would leapfrog UC Santa Barbara and be sitting in that number 2 spot. So heading into today's action, this is how the brackets kind of set up. Hawaii currently, as of right now, would be a number 3 seed. They play CSUN, but they would be on that UC Santa Barbara side of the bracket. I think that's the key, staying away from Long Beach State until hopefully a matchup in the championship. So first off, how about that upset? UC San Diego, they beat Hawaii earlier this year. They're a team that you and I talked about at the beginning of the conference. They beat Long Beach State. That's huge.
That's a huge win for UC San Diego. But again, in this conference, anything can happen. And if you let your guard down just that tiny bit, it's the little details that get into play here. And all the play throughout the season really does come down to where you line up in the Big West Conference.
We heard the arena when that announcement was made, and the fans here cheered about that loss to Long Beach State. But it also goes to show how competitive this tournament is going to be. Do yourselves a favor if you're watching this. Head over to HawaiiAthletics.com. Get your tickets to the Big West Championship here at the Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Hawaii will need the fans in this arena to help carry them because it is going to be a competitive tournament.
Well, Hawaii can't worry about what other teams are doing and all that kind of stuff. They have to worry at what they have in hand. They hold their own destiny in their hands. A win tonight, a couple of wins next week on the road at UC Irvine. They would get in that number 2 spot, assuming that Long Beach doesn't lose again, and they would have a bye. But let's talk about last night and your thoughts on how they played an evening ago.
Well, I think it really showed how Hawaii can be a dominant team in this conference. You know, beating the number 2 ranked team in this conference and the 5th ranked team overall in the country in 3 sets says a lot. We also saw how Hawaii was more competitive in those red zone moments from 20 points on. I think it bodes well for this team. The key will be how they respond tonight.
I have to say the key last night, in my personal opinion, really was the fans in the stands. This arena was rocking and rolling. And the fans really kicked in when it mattered at the very end there when push came to shove. The fans here in the stand rose. They were on their feet. They were cheering. And I'll tell you what, UC Santa Barbara couldn't even hear each other talk or think. They couldn't call the plays. It made a tremendous difference. I think there was 4,100 people here. It seemed like there was 10,000.
Yeah, and they're going to be more tonight. We understand the lines outside are very, very long here for this senior night. All right, should be another good one here on a Saturday night. We throw it over to the gentlemen. They'll be calling the action. It's Kanoa and Chris, guys.
Thanks a lot. Yes, next to Chris McLaughlin, I'm Kanoa Leahy, and you heard them talking about it. In fact, Charlie Wade, after the match last night, said that was the most fun, the most electricity in this building really in over 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that was something that was pretty special and an indication of maybe things to come here down the stretch for this Hawaii volleyball team.
Yeah, the lines were long out there, and I know that the demand for tickets for the tournament is going to be huge. They go on sale, I think, Monday, April 11th. So watch for that to fly out the door.
That's right, yeah. And things becoming a little more intriguing with that UCSD win over Long Beach State just a little while ago. All right, let's get to this match, and it is the rematch. And night two, you're always saying, hey, the advantage in some respects goes to the team that lost. They're going to be more compelled to make changes, make the necessary adjustments. What kind of adjustments do you expect from UCSB?
Well, first of all, I talked to the assistant coaches ahead of time, Jonas Safe and Blaine, and they both said, we're just going to serve a little harder tonight. We're going to let the guys loose. We want about 5 more miles per hour on their serves, and we think that will make a difference. We had too many safe serves last night, and they want to serve some, a lot more bullets, a lot more BBs.
All right, so expect some explosiveness there from the service line, really on both sides. I think some of the things maybe to be concerned about for Hawaii, the back-to-back, right? We were talking last night about Dimitrios Mouklias and how maybe it's been a bit up and down from weekend to weekend, even night to night on these 2-match series. And Jakob Tella, back-to-back night on that knee. Just some of the things that maybe should be looked at closely here for Hawaii in this Hanaho rematch.
I totally agree, and his knee was pretty good today, and serve and pass today a few hours ago, it was just fine. It hadn't swollen up like it did last weekend when it was like a balloon. So Hawaii certainly needs that guy to be healthy. I think the other thing to look for tonight maybe is the play of Chaz Galloway. He struggled last night, and I think he needs to get back into form for Hawaii to really be good in the tournament coming up and the NC2As.
Yeah, Charlie Wade's got a lot to juggle here this evening, right? Because you're right, that's back-to-back matches for Chaz Galloway where he has hit in negative numbers. You'd like to get him back on track, so to speak. You also have the 3 seniors that are being honored, and you'd like to get them some legitimate time here on senior night. So a lot of things swimming through the mind, I'm sure, of head coach Charlie Wade. But it is the Hanaho rematch. It is Hawaii UC Santa Barbara, which is always entertaining and competitive. We'll have it for you at first serve, but let's send it back over to the corner crew.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Well, Jakob Tella is the guy that gets the engine roaring. 22 starts this year. You look at his assist per set at 9.64. He's very offensive, almost a kill per set. He leads the team in service aces with 48. He's getting close to the school record for that. Jakob Tella is just all around a great player and person.
He's an impressive young man, both on and off the court, there's no doubt. Really good student, really gifted athlete, talented volleyball player, and he continues to get better, and he continues to be more mature and more professional, and just thrilled that he's here, and he's going to be here again next year.
It's definitely been a challenge, like we've seen, like a lot of the guys that have been going in and out because of injuries, COVID-related things, but also just players like stepping up. Like we see a lot of guys from the bench also getting like significant playing time in the game and also playing really well. So it's a lot of competition, but also it's a lot of getting in and out of the starting 6, which I think has been a challenge, but also been a good thing because we're seeing more guys getting more comfortable in that position as well, so they can come in more easily and play well. It's definitely been a year of growth, I would say, for my part, but also for the other guys. Like we see, it was always a question like who's going to be the leader of this year, and like I would say like now we have a lot of leaders, it's just not one, it's like multiple guys that can always take leadership in the game, and either if it's through the way they like talk, behave, and like or just like their performance, we have a lot of leaders on our team. And for me, I always try to encourage my players to play their best and find ways to kind of communicate and to get better and be successful on the court. So for me, it's definitely been something that I've been embracing this year.
You know, I think the biggest recruiting tool for Charlie Wade this year was getting Jakob Telle able to come back again for another year next season. But this season, I mean, he is what gets this team going.
Yeah, he is the marquee player for this team in so many ways. I mean, you just look at his stat line, what he's been able to accomplish just with Hawaii's offense, his defense, of course, his serving, which he's setting records here at the University of Hawaii. He really has developed himself into a premier player. We've talked about this at length, about him being a National Player of the Year contender, and it is very rare for a setter to win that award. It is a hard thing to do. Josh Tuanika was probably the last setter to claim that award, but Jakob Telle, when talking to other coaches throughout the country, everyone agrees that he certainly is a legitimate candidate for that Player of the Year award.
Well, he's a special athlete. You know what he does so well is his leadership. He's calm, he's humble, he does everything. He's the quarterback of the team. He's the pilot of the airplane. He has to figure out what's on the opposing side. It's like a chess match nonstop for him. He's always thinking. He's always involving his other players. He's thinking ahead of the play, what's next, who's hot, who's not, who's on first. I'll tell you, this young man, his leadership is irreplaceable, and it's remarkable. He continues to shine, and he's humble. He's always just helping others be better, and he wants truly what's best for the team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. A team player, and definitely the guy that Hawaii needs out on the floor most. And good to see him last night after getting that knee drained. He said he feels good tonight, so we'll see what he and his teammates can do up against the Gauchos for a second consecutive evening. All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we'll talk about the three seniors here on Senior Night. Inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. It is Senior Night. There you see the three fellows who will be honored at the conclusion of this match. It's going to be Hawaii UCSB. There you see Evan Enriquez, who came over from Grand Canyon University. Of course, Kyler PRESHO after 4 years at Stanford, and Max Rosenfeld, a fifth-year player for the University of Hawaii. Each of these guys has made their own impact on this program.
The senior class has helped a lot with leadership, you know, having that wisdom coming in, because the team's young, you know, we're still trying to find ourselves early on, but having that wisdom and that knowledge and that leadership type role in the locker room, it's definitely helped a lot of the younger guys and, you know, keeping their heads on straight.
I've known Kyler, you know, through high school, and obviously know his father well, but when I talked to him for the first time at any length, over the summer when he was talking about coming, I was immediately impressed with just, you know, how mature he is and how articulate he is and how just, you know, like I said, impressive young man and very professional. You know, Avery's a guy that's a volley guy from a volleyball family that's been around forever, and, you know, he's been a real, you know, asset in our practice gym every day. And, you know, Max is a guy that's been here 5 years and really transformed himself into a high-level college volleyball player. I mean, he's going to leave here with an advanced degree, and he's just been thrilled that he's been a part of our program for as long as he has.
It's definitely good, like, having them providing some maturity. Like, all three guys are very mature, and they're also, like, we consider them as our uncles on this team, so it's definitely good having them and supporting us. Yeah, they've definitely been playing a huge part of this program.
Uncles, those guys are way too young to be uncles. I guess it's all in perspective, right? But, you know, a lot of times we don't see the impact guys like those three make. They don't get a lot of playing time in games, but they help make the team better in the practice gym.
Definitely. You know, this A team and B team stuff, both these teams make each other better, and those three have contributed more to this team than anybody could even know, especially them coming in as fifth-year seniors, minus Max Rosenfeld. The other two coming in as fifth-year seniors. It's amazing what they've done. They've come to Hawaii, they've played as hard as they can, and then Max Rosenfeld, starting as a freshman, walking on, earning a spot. I mean, their contributions are huge, and it's amazing that we get to celebrate them as seniors.
Yeah, and each of them have just a unique story and different personalities that have added to the makeup of this overall team. Kyler definitely brings that leadership leadership in the locker room and provides that mature presence. Max is just a personality in and of himself. He's one of the greatest guys. If you have the opportunity to talk to him, he will make you laugh. And then there's Avery, the local kid, who really helps to inspire these athletes and expose them to the island lifestyle, even taking a few athletes home with him to the Big Island over Thanksgiving and exposing them to fishing and other adventures on the Big Island. And so each of them have done their own part to help really enhance the overall experience for their teammates here at the University of Hawaii.
And the thing we've seen with this team this year is that there are a lot of interchangeable parts. I mean, granted, this is the last home regular season game, but there's still a lot more volleyball left to be played. These guys could be called upon in a high-pressure moment, and they have the experience.
At any time, and that's their hardest role, is that they're on the side waiting to be called. They were called at any moment, and when they are, they've got to be ready to rock and roll. And believe me, they will be, because I think they all have totally bought in. They have drank the Kool-Aid. They want to be on that court.
And we saw it in the past. I mean, last weekend, Avery got inserted in the second set against Long Beach and had to come in and play right back. We saw Max have some huge matches, including the one win against BYU in 2020, where he came in and really helped Hawaii turn that tide and beat the Cougars back in that match. So they've all been there and done that before.
All right, we'll honor those three when this one's Powell, but when we come back, we're going to look forward to the matchup, the rematch, Hawaii UCSB. And a reminder, get the greatest plays, hardest hits, and schedule info by following Spec Sports High on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You're watching Game On, presented by Bank of Hawaii. All right, we're about 15 minutes away or so from the opening serve, Hawaii and UC Santa Barbara. Number 4 UH, number 5 UCSB. Let's see how they match up on the stats to this point of the year. There you see 16-7 record for the Gauchos, 19-5 for Hawaii. Hawaii with the advantage in just about every single category. Take a look at the serving and the service errors. Hawaii with 178 aces and only 241 errors, 360 errors for the Gauchos and 123 service aces. All right, let's take a look at who led the way for the Gauchos last night, Ryan.
Yeah, you see the 3 attack leaders here for the Gauchos. I like to highlight really the pins. Wilcox hitting, you see there, 15 kills, really led the way. And also Chalmers, 8 kills without an error here, 421. And John on the opposite, that lefty, all of them will be very important, and they're going to have big matches here tonight.
All right, and for the University of Hawaii, Lisa.
Well, no strangers to the group, Spiros Hakas, Dimitrios Muklias, but I want to say Boss is the boss. He has been playing unbelievable. He only had 6 kills last night, but let me tell you, if they can get him the ball a little bit more, I think it may take a little pressure off of the pin hitters for Hawaii.
All right, Lisa, be honest. How long were you thinking that Boss is the boss?
It just came to me naturally.
All right, guys. You know what was interesting last night? Hawaii won that first set fairly handily, but they were also up by significant points in both the second and third and let UCSB back in it. So what do you expect here tonight?
Well, I expect a very close match. I think one of the things that these two teams have had the opportunity to do is watch more film to get more tendencies down. I think Santa Barbara recognizes as well that this is a very important match for them overall as well. If they want to be considered as a possible postseason contender or at-large bid, they're going to have a marquee win against a team like Hawaii. And so I think they're going to be playing with a little more extra tonight, knowing that they need this win.
And I agree. I mean, a quick turnaround, definitely. But for the Gauchos, they're going to have to step it up from the service line. That's the biggest thing that I think was their problem last night, and also offensively. I think they were a little nervous. They've got a younger team, maybe not as confident playing in this arena. Again, the fans are huge. It's loud in here. It's new. But they got one night behind them, and they're looking forward. They were having a great, fun warm-up when we walked in. I think they're going to be a little looser, and I think they're not going to make as many errors.
You know, last night we saw Muklias get off the schneid after a tough road trip to Long Beach State. Last night, Chaz Galloway really struggled. Not a lot of it his fault. I mean, he was just out of system balls, and they were waiting for him. How important is it for him to get into rhythm early?
I think it's important, but I think more than anything else, it's just getting him comfortable. He doesn't need to have a double-digit kind of kill night. I think he just needs to hit positively and pass well to get confidence going into the big road trip next week.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Chaz is going to bounce back, no problem. He's going to take a look at that film, like you said, Ryan, and he's going to know what he needs to do to stay on the court.
It's senior night. Any impact?
Yeah, I think that it could be even more fun for the fans, and we'll see.
All right, should be a fun one. It's the rematch. Hawaii 1-3 last night. We're going to find out what's going to happen here on a Saturday evening. The three of us will be back at intermission. Coming up next to First Serve with Kanoa and Chris.
Outside hitter, 6'3" sophomore from San Diego, California. Number 1, Chaz Galloway. Athlete number 1, 6'2" sophomore from Newport Beach, California. Number 4, PRESHO. At middle blocker, 6'4" sophomore from Waimanalo, Oahu. Number 7, Cole Hoagland. And opposite, 6'6" sophomore from Soufli, Greece. Number 11, Dimitrios Mouklias. Middle blocker, 6'7" sophomore from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Number 21, Guilherme Voss. And outside hitter, 6'4" sophomore from Nea Smyrni, Greece. Number 23, Spiros Hakkas. And at center, 6'6" junior from Tonsberg, Norway. Floor captain, number 10, Jakob Tella. The volunteer assistant is Chad Eastman. Assistant coach Joshua Walker. Associate coach Milan Zarkovic. Head coach for your Rainbow Warriors, Charlie Wade.
And with that, we welcome you inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Kanoa Leahy sitting next to Chris McLaughlin. C-Mac, take us through the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match.
For Santa Barbara, I think they attacked more out of the middle last night. They only did 12% of the total attempts. Normally they do more around 25%. And for Hawaii, pedal down at 20 all. They got to learn how to close the deal. They struggled with it last weekend at Long Beach. And last night, they showed signs of being able to close the deal, but still not to Charlie Wade's satisfaction.
So it is UCSB serving first here. Spiros Hakkas with the first swing and a pancake save attempt by Brandon Hicks for not. They're going to say that it hit the floor. So Hakkas gets the kill. Hawaii gets the opening point, and the ice has been broken here this evening. The Hawaiian Financial FCU starting lineup scrolling at the bottom of your screen. Chaz Galloway back out there as the starter here, even though he was pulled in the latter portion of the match last night. At outside hitter, it would be nice to see him get back to his form. Good save, layout style by Jakob Tella, and then Hakkas gets another kill.
And how about the set from Guilherme Voss? Clear across court. That's playing some volleyball, I'm telling you. Well-rounded athlete right there.
So Spiros Hakkas off to a fast start. He's got 2 kills, 2 serving 0, and here is Jakob Tella. 48 aces on the season to lead the team. Big swing here by Dane Chalmers. The dig by Brett Schuer. Net violation on the Hawaii side is going to give the first point of the match to the Gauchos.
I think it was on Mouklias getting a little bit too aggressive there.
So Haotian Shaw, 6'5" junior southpaw swinger from Beijing, China, to bring it across. Was one of the bright spots certainly for the Gauchos last night. Quick middle to Voss. Chalmers couldn't get it down. Hawaii on the attack, and it is Dimitrios Mouklias gets a touch, gets a kill, and Hawaii up 3-1. Dimitrios wasn't quite the effective hitter that he was hoping to be last week in Long Beach. Last night, however, C-Mac, 10 kills, hit 500 to go along with a handful of digs and a block.
No errors. That's the big number right there that Charlie Wade really likes. I'd like to see Mouklias hit for more consistency.
Served by Hawkes goes out. Hawaii last night with 6 aces, and that helped them surpass the previous single-season rally scoring record of 174. They come into this match with 178 on the year, still counting, as you see Rick McLaughlin, the head coach for the Gauchos. Reigning AVCA National and Big West Conference Coach of the Year, mind you. Here's Shuey taking on the setting responsibilities. Muklius hitting against 6 hands, unable to get it down. Quick middle set. That goes to Brandon Hicks off the block. Teller with the save. Now Muklius again from Shuey. Block. Diving save to keep it alive by Hawkes. And now UCSB playing it back. Shoved down 2-hand style by Pat Paragas, the 6-foot sophomore setter for the Gauchos.
How about that clever play by Paragas? It goes up, and he could have actually bumped the ball up and had somebody else run a play, had his libero, set the next ball, but instead he just tapped it down. That was awesome. Great play.
Look at Charlie Wade, his team 14-0 at home here this year. Muklius through the hands, the save along the back line, and then put over on 2. It is Pat Paragas again, feeling very offensive-minded the last 2 sequences.
Paragas leading the Gauchos right now in kills.
You see his numbers taking over for Casey McGarry, who was their very steady and tremendous setter for a number of years. Paragas, a guy who the coaching staff says just needs to kind of follow his instincts. He's a good player. He's a creative setter. He just needs to trust in himself in that more instinctive manner.
I know he's just a freshman, but his youth volleyball was amazing. 4 gold medals at Junior Olympics, 3 MVPs.
Pancake save by the libero Max Gordon on what was nearly an ace by Guilherme Voss. And then Ryan Wilcox, the Punahou graduate, 6'2 junior, 4th year with the program, goes off the block and out. He's 4th in the Big West Conference in kills per set, averaging 3.5.
Nice pop-up by Max Gordon. I thought he had a tremendous match last night.
High ball set from Tella to Chaz Galloway, and he knocks it through the fingers for the kill, averaging 2.5 kills per set. That's 3rd on the team, hitting 250 on the year. But he's hitting negative numbers now 2 matches in a row, including last night, C-Mac. Just 1 kill on 14 swings, hit negative 143.
I think he'll turn it around tonight. I really do. He's just too good a player.
5-all here in the first. Demetrios Muklius with the serve. Wilcox the pass. Set goes to Shaw, and he's able to pound it through the Hawaii block and down. So very much these 2 teams trading blows here in the early going. Hawaii 19-5 overall on the year. They're 4-3 in the Big West Conference. The Gauchos 16-7. Last night was their 3rd league loss. They're 5-3. Bump set by Tella to Muklius. Didn't get a full swing on it. So advantage here for the Gauchos. Tip shot, Shaw, pancake save, Shuey. The swing by Muklius. Tools the block and gets the point for Hawaii. What a layout by Brett Sheward.
Shuey's, I think, playing some of his best volleyball this time of the year. The right time he's playing great defense for sure. I think Rick McLaughlin's now questioning whether or not the ball on the attack hit a hand or not.
You see Rick McLaughlin talking with Dixon Chun. He's the R2 down on the floor. Joseph Aguilar is the R1 atop the ladder across the way. Ryan Scudder, Randy Rubinall, the 2 line judges. And this is a pretty lengthy discussion here.
Can you hear me? He's got the challenge paddle in his hand.
I'm not sure if what he was arguing about on that last sequence was challengeable.
He's challenging whether or not the ball touched the block or not when it came back on Hawaii's side. We'll see.
Well, needless to say, Rick McLaughlin, I don't think satisfied with the explanation he received from the officials.
Yeah.
Either way, it's 6 up here in the first. Chaz Galloway with the serve. Pass by Gordon. Middle set. That goes to Donovan Todorov. And the roof was up. Cole Hoagland and company. The Manoa Roofing Company bringing the hard hats here early in the first.
Hoagland at 6'4", a bit undersized middle, but with a 44-inch jump, he plays like he's about 6'8".
Galloway, that's a good serve. Great pass by Gordon, though. Middle goes to Todorov, and he goes hard angle to the near side, finds that sideline, and gets the kill. Back and forth, very steadily here in this first frame, C-Mac. You see the numbers for Todorov, 6'6" sophomore from San Diego.
And the reason he got that set was Gordon put up a perfect pass. Gordon last night, 10 digs to lead everybody on the floor. You know, for a freshman, be playing that much last night, carried the passing and the digging load for the Gauchos was pretty impressive.
Yeah, his first career start logged last night, playing in place of the injured Ryan Peksock. He's a very good libero for this Gaucho squad. Served by Wilcox, good pass there, Galloway. D-set goes to Muklius, dug up by Wilcox. Gauchos on the attack. Here's the swing by Chalmers, and Dane Chalmers, who was our Bank of Hawaii player of the match, had 8 kills last night on 19 swings, 0 errors, hitting .421.
He just finds a way. That ball just wiggles through the block. He had 3 blockers up, 6 hands across, and somehow Chalmers found a way.
Wilcox trying to crank up the velocity on that serve, sends it long. So tied at 8.
You know, I talked to Blaine Nielsen and Jonas Safe before the game, and they said, you know, we're going to try to rip our serves a little bit harder. A few more miles per hour on our serves to get Hawaii out of the system.
Here's Shaw. Wow, he unloaded that time. And the serve receive right now for UCSB has been sound so far in this first set. And Shaw, the beneficiary, he has 3 kills on 4 swings, yet to commit an error. 9 serving 8. This is a first frame that has been tied 6 times already. Todorov the serve, that misses wide. So 3rd service error already for the Gauchos. And we're tied for the 7th time.
Josh Walker up off the bench, shouting some instructions to the blockers.
Good serve there by Tella, but again the pass on the money, and then Wilcox on the bick, dug up by Galloway, saved by Sheward. Now a scramble here for the Gauchos. Shaw down the line and in. Charlie Wade thought it was out. Top official Joseph Aguilar quickly calling it in, as did the line judge, and Charlie is going to challenge that one. And he is going to challenge the in-out call. There's a lot going on that last rally.
What a rally on that. I'll tell you, you know who made a great dig there was, in the back row was Chaz Galloway. He just took a shot and popped it straight up, kept the rally going, gave Hawaii a chance to score. Santa Barbara had the last word.
Let's take a look here. That looks to be well in.
It may have been a way for Charlie to not have to use a timeout. Who knows?
It will be confirmed by Dixon Chun. So Charlie Wade loses that challenge. UCSB creeps ahead. And Shaw, who just ripped his 4th kill, is back to serve. How are the hitting percentages so far? 533 for UC Santa Barbara, 357 for Hawaii. Just 1 hitting error between the 2 squads. And the ace from Tian Shaw. Off to a blazing start here in the Hanaho rematch.
Tian Shaw, not known for his acing. He had 2 aces last night, but he had 4 errors to go along with it. He's really hot right now at the net and from behind the service line.
That's a little more sauce on that serve, and then the quick middle goes to Voss, and Guilherme Voss using a little body language to avoid committing a net violation, and Hawaii gets the point.
Well, this 31 set just goes so fast. Blockers up a little late there. Can't get a hand on it and slow it down. Great set from Teller. Good swing from Voss.
You see the numbers for Guilherme Voss. Tops in the Big West Conference in hitting percentage. Outside, And that one pumped down by Chalmers. So what are you seeing here from either side, C-Mac?
Well, I see the Santa Barbara team is digging more balls, passing way better than they did last night. They're in system almost on every single play. That's the biggest difference.
There's a crowd making some noise, still filing in. We are hearing that it has been a bit of a chore getting not just into the arena, but onto the lower campus. Here's Voss, the behind-the-head quick. Dug up by Gordon, swing by Wilcox is blocked. Gordon with the back bump set. High ball to Wilcox, tough angle, and he makes it work. Oh, that was the thinnest of margin that he had to work with the pin and the Hawaii block.
Very resourceful, good back bump set, as you said, by Gordon. And Wilcox did not have much room for error there.
And it is 13 serving 10. Chalmers with the serve. Galloway, the first touch. Here's Muklias. Little extra chili pepper water on that one.
Muklias picking up right where he left off last night. Hitting high and hard. Tough to block, tough to dig.
Again, so far just one hitting error. That belongs to Donovan Todorov when he got stuffed at the net by Hoagland and Tella. Here is Yakana. Serving sub, diving past Gordon, middle set, goes to Hicks, it's blocked. High ball outside Wilcox. Was there a touch? There was no touch, it goes long, it's a point for Hawaii. And they've scored consecutively. We are expecting the biggest volleyball crowd of this season here tonight. We are being told that the lower campus parking has been closed. And so people are being redirected to park elsewhere, whether it's on the upper campus or in the surrounding side streets. Overpass, joust at the net. Galloway couldn't get it down. Now Wilcox, the tip. Pancake save. It was either Tella or Galloway. Either way, you play on in the sequence. Outside Wilcox, slam, dunks it down to the Terraflex. So much for tipping that shot.
This pancake pop-up right here by maybe both guys, Tella and Galloway. I don't know who's going to get credit for that, but here's the push down by Wilcox. So resourceful. He's got pretty much every shot in the book.
Well, that was a double stack pancake as Hawkes comes rappelling down from the ceiling on that Vic and just drops a hammer.
You notice the quality of play is just a notch up tonight. Look at the hitting percentages. Hawaii hitting .421 and Santa Barbara hitting .455. Those are big offensive numbers. They normally hit, right around 320.
Nucleus would serve outside. It's Wilcox, two blockers up. But just too quick, that set from Paragas to Wilcox. And it is UCSB getting to 15 first in the first. We got a good one. You talked about it, C-Mac. Serve receive has been really strong so far for the Gauchos.
And Max Gordon has passed 7 of the 12 serves, and almost all of them perfect right there. Setter didn't have to move. And when they get the ball to the setter at the net, the ball is set really fast to the outside. Tough for the blockers to get there. A lot of credit goes to Max Gordon, the freshman out of Miracosta High School.
Yeah, I mentioned his first career start last night, had the 10 digs, also 30 service receptions with just one receiving error. Great extension to keep the play alive there by Chalmers. Hawaii on the advantage. Tella on 2.
Now that's a play that Charlie Wade wants to see happen more often. As soon as he establishes this on 2, pretty soon the blockers are going to start jumping with him as if he's an attacker, and he'll just go set to the outside. The outside hitters will get one-on-ones.
And a good sign, right? I mean, there was so much discussion about his knee earlier in the week. Seemed to be good on it last night, although there was a diving play that he made where he got up somewhat gingerly. There was concern. Hey, look, back-to-back matches. How's the knee going to feel on night 2? So far, so good. as Wilcox, so far so good as well in his attacking.
Didn't you and I have a tell a rule? No diving?
Yes. We
forget to tell. Did we forget to tell Charlie?
Yeah,
we have to get a patent on it.
We went through the whole copyright process and forgot to tell Charlie Wade. As Wilcox sends it long. Yeah, I believe it was a two-folded rule. It was one, no diving, Jakob. All right, and when he leaves the arena, he has to be put in bubble wrap.
Yes. If they want to have any chance at all of winning a national championship,
that's right.
Those rules have got to be followed.
15 serving 16 here in a very competitive first set. Backside, Shaw, cross court and in. Haotian Shaw right now is in his bag. 5 kills on 6 swings, no errors.
And another perfect pass from Max Gordon.
Here's Todorov now to serve. Tella. That back quick set to Guilherme Voss, and he gets it down. Voss coming into this match hitting .498 on the year. It's really interesting to see this middle blocker matchup. You have Voss, who's tops in the Big West in hitting percentage and blocks. You have Donovan Todorov on the other side, who's second in the Big West in hitting percentage and blocks.
Great battle.
Tella the serve. Gordon, that one a little tight to the net, a little joust there, but they're going to give the point to the Gauchos and call interference on Dimitrios Mouklias.
The ball is on. The ball's got to break the plane in order to be able to touch it. And that time, it looked to me like it was on Santa Barbara's side completely. Good call.
Shaw with the serve. Tella goes high and away to Mouklias. Popped up in the air by Wilcox. That one got up into the banners. Now the swing by Chalmers. Didn't put a huge amount of pop on it, but still was able to place it off of the hands and down. Dane Chalmers proving to be a problem here for Hawaii this weekend. And it is UCSB up 3. Timeout, close. Welcome back. There's an exciting new way to watch Spectrum Sports on the go. It's the Spectrum News app. Has the local sports you love and the news and weather that matter most to you. Download today on the App Store or Google Play. And the Gauchos got swept last night, trying to immediately change that scenario here on night 2. And Haotian Shaw, with his second service ace of this opening frame, puts the Gauchos up 4. 20 serving 16.
What a difference a day makes. 10 perfect passes from Max Gordon have resulted in the hitters having a field day on the outside and the middle.
Looping serve that time by Shaw. Tella goes quick middle to Voss. That's been working. 3rd kill for G-Force.
Santa Barbara hitting .538. Hawaii now hitting .400. Those are monstrous numbers for the offense.
No, this has not been a messy first set. This has been very well played on either side.
There's only been one block all night as well. Hawaii's had the only block.
Outside, Chalmers. And right now, this Gauchos offense looks like it is running like clockwork. Hawaii's not too shabby either. But you'd have to say the crisper team to this point has been UCSB.
Absolutely. I think Hawaii's got to absolutely start serving anybody else except Gordon right now.
21 serving 17. Tella goes backside to Voss. And that one not quite on target. The connection not quite what it has been. First hitting error for Voss. It's a 5-1 Gaucho run, and they're up a handful here in the first, and you can just sense this crowd a bit stunned here the way this match has started.
And a big crowd. Wow, this looks like crowds of 3 years ago.
Overpass there, force. It's Shaw from the back row. Great up by Huckus. High ball bump set. Shui to Mouklias. Look at that save by Chalmers. And the left-hand attempt by Wilcox goes wide of the pin. It's a point to Hawaii. But this very knowledgeable Hawaii fan base always applauding good volleyball. You had some spectacular saves on both sides.
Chalmers' dig was spectacular. They're now having to wipe up the floor there where he dove, but that play he made was next level. Big time. That was big time.
That was pretty special. Diving one way, a backhanded save on the layout. Hawaii does get the point though, but they got some work to do here in the first. Guilherme Voss with the serve. Goes deep and long and out.
And one of the reasons that went out, Guilherme sees all three of the passers up on the 3-meter line. They all think they're going to pass the ball with their hands, so he was going to drill one and try to get it either over their heads or force them into a bad pass.
So here's Brandon Hicks. Powerful serve, popped up by Galloway. Tella goes backside. Here's Muklias through the double block, saved by Chalmers, tight to the pin, and the Gauchos aren't able to forge a return. So give the kill to Dimi, and he now retreats back to serve.
Well, Muklias looks so much different than he did last week in Long Beach, don't you think?
Yeah.
He's hitting with confidence, he's hitting high, he's hitting hard. Timing is good, flow is good, tempo is good.
And just some very aggressive, assertive swings in the process. Reflective of that confidence you mentioned. Here is Shaw from the back row. Two-hand save by Muklias. Wilcox the save, gets the set back. Tried to go quick down the line, blocked by Tella. Middle set, Todorov! Bashing it.
I'll tell you, Paragas did a great job of faking out Hawaii's block that time. I think he took a blocker with him, and Todorov only had one blocker up, or no blockers up.
So Aloha ball in set one for the Gauchos. They go step out to Hoagland, popped up by Paragas. Shaw the swing, dug up by Huckus. So Tella goes high and away. Galloway rising up, waved at and saved by Wilcox. From the back row, it's Chalmers blocked. Good cover there by Wilcox. Quick springs, Wilcox off the block and down. And this UCSB team bouncing back here to start this Hanaho rematch. An 8-3 run to close set one. They take it by a half dozen. Locked in that first frame for the Gauchos. 5 kills, no errors, hit 625, had a pair of service aces, and he has helped to make this Gaucho team look completely rejuvenated from last night.
They are hitting 500 right now, thanks to Halcyon. Timmy Chang is here. We got Timmy Chang in the house.
So you take a look at Tion Shaw and his numbers so far, but yeah, very excited. In fact, during that first frame, during one of the timeouts, new University of Hawaii football coach Timmy Chang addressing the fans, and we got a big crowd here this evening just to sort of be in this environment after all of this time where there were no fans, and we've slowly been kind of building back the attendance here. What's it like for you to be in this arena here?
It is truly amazing. It's electric. I mean, I'm still watching. There's like a line of people trying to get in here, and it's been awesome to see because for me, like watching all these spring sports, like I was at baseball last night, I was at softball last night as well, and the men's volleyball senior night, and the weekends when this is happening, it is unbelievable. The energy, the feeling, it's nothing like being here in Manoa on this UH campus.
All right, so we got you here. We're gonna watch this second set here get going, and if you have any kind of input, any kind of analysis, we definitely welcome that too.
Oh no, I do have a favorite player. It's him setting right here. Banger.
Jakob Tella, yeah, that's a pretty nasty serve. The Gauchos get the first point on the Hicks swing. You mentioned you were at baseball last night, and so we have to start there. You threw out the first pitch, and I don't want to be too judgmental here, but it would have required a fairly liberal strike zone, let's say, for that to be ruled a strike.
I'm a little disappointed in myself, to be honest with you. Scotty Scott set out throwing 55 to 60 miles an hour, and you know, I was just trying to get it over the plate, no strike, and it didn't happen. So I need a redo, Mitchell.
You're looking for the second opportunity? A little redemption there?
Yes, no, definitely. I need redemption. I need more practice as well.
But you did the whole, I mean, you were on the strip. You had the jersey, the hat. I heard they even gave you a pair of baseball pants if you wanted to sport them.
I know. I shied away with the baseball pants, but the jersey was nice with the 14 and the hat, and I had cleats on it. I felt pretty legit last night.
That's a good serve there by Spiros Hakas. Maybe they're a little inspired with the new head football coach sitting courtside.
No, I want to know why he didn't have the first serve tonight. And would he have done a jump serve, or would he have done an underhand, or what would he have done?
Definitely underhand. Definitely, I would have played it safe. I would have played it safe.
You were a multi-sport guy back in the day. Was volleyball ever on the radar for Timmy Chang?
You know what? Volleyball was a hobby, and I played it with my sisters. My sisters both played volleyball, and I loved it. And when you grow up in the islands, you have to know how to play some volleyball, because that's what family parties consist of. It consists of a volleyball net and some grass or some sand, and you got to know how to compete in this competitive island environment.
Well, so far it has been shakas for Hakas here to start this second set. He has been in on all 3 Hawaii points. It is 3 serving 1. Next week, it's going to be a big day on Saturday for the UH football program. The Island Day football spring game, and is going to be your first spring game overseeing this program as head coach. Give us a sense of what you're hoping to see next week.
Just continuing progress, I think. When you're building a team, and the first things you're trying to do is put in a playbook and make sure the culture's right. And so, just building off of what we have, the momentum that we have, what the guys have been able to do. I've been so proud of our staff and our football team to this point, but just building off of it. And this is the first time that they're going to get to feel the energy of this state. And really, they got to understand, it's your entertainment. You're there for them, and you got a job to do. And so being around that environment and being able to perform and do their job in that environment, it's going to be a test for them. And I'm sure it's going to be new to some of these guys, but it's going to be a great atmosphere, and I think it's going to be electric like this.
Well, we got to ask you, what have you thought of what you've seen here so far through spring practice?
A lot of great teaching. A lot of great teaching and a lot of great buy-in. The kids, we tell them in the meeting that, and the rooms, that you're going to make mistakes, and that's okay. We don't have to peak right now in March and April. We got to peak at August 27th when we hit Vanderbilt. And so this whole progression, as we continue to grow together, they start building the trust, they start understanding their technique and fundamentals. It's just on building and continuously progressing.
So, Timmy, I want to know, how do you know the names of all your players?
That's
Is it a challenge?
It's a challenge.
Something you want to do, though, right?
Oh yeah, no, you're going to know these guys, and more importantly, you need to know their background and where they're from. The challenge always is when you come in. A lot of times they're not your recruits, but because I'm from Hawaii, I've always been in the islands recruiting Hawaii, so I have some familiarity with some of these guys. But you want to know their story. You want to know what makes them tick. You want to know where they're from, because when you kind of understand what where these guys and their backgrounds from, it helps you coach them a little bit better, and you have an understanding, and it's sometimes some sentimental. It's just that connection and building and that trust that you guys have.
I would say that's the most important thing you will do all your coaching career. That one thing.
Yes. We're in the business of developing young men. And really our game is it's a game, it's a sport, right? And it teaches you so much great life skills. That was a good block.
Yeah, that was a nice stuff there by Cole Holdland. But continue.
We play a game, but the real game is the game of life. And what we're doing is we're building young men, we're building leaders of our community, future fathers, future husbands, and that's the most important thing, that we build these guys to be great young ambassadors of Hawaii.
And when the going gets tough, guess what? They're going to play hard for you. Guarantee. Because of this work you're doing.
Yes, and I hope so. And that's what we're going to rely on, right? When June used to say it all the time, that this game comes down to 2 or 3 plays, and you want these guys to play hard. That's what I like. I like when he does that. When he acts like he's set and he just uses his left hand and he slaps it down the line somewhere.
Yeah, that's part of why he's your favorite dude on this roster, right?
Oh man, he's unique. You can tell he leads this one of the best teams in the country, and I think if they're going to win a national title, it's going to run through him.
Well, it's been pretty competitive here so far. 4 ties already in this second set. Diving save attempt, at least there by Dimitrios Muklias, so we're tied for the 5th time.
Well, you said the national championship would run through him. Guess what? Kano and I have some rules about him. Go ahead, tell him, Kano.
Please, be my guest.
Well, he's got the bad knee, right?
Yes.
So we've said that we think that he shouldn't dive at all. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2, when he leaves the arena, he's covered in bubble wrap.
Yes.
So he doesn't get hurt.
Encased in bubble wrap.
That's how you know you're one of the most important players. Is that when you get the care like that. I got a funny story because our quarterback in Nevada was the same way. He didn't practice Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then he came in and practiced Thursday and Friday, and those are like complete walking days. And then he just went and suited up Saturday, and then it became one of the best quarterbacks in the country. So I get it.
Yeah. Well, he had another chance there to impress you, but the block was waiting that time.
Yeah.
And Todorov, along with Shaw, able to get the better of that battle. Spring objective, obviously, it's the coaches building these relationships, the players building relationships with one another, but you also want to try to install as much as you can, right, and lay some of that tactical foundation, if you will. How's that coming along, and what can you give the fan base detail-wise? As Tella, I think he knows that you're a fan of his. He's trying to up his game right now.
That's my favorite move right there. Definitely my favorite move right there. And he commands a block, so if they're blocking him, I mean, it's going to put some other guys one-on-one on the outside, so that's pretty good.
But what can you, or what are you willing to share with us as far as schematically what that foundation is here going forward?
You know, on offense, there's a lot of things to learn, right? There's, again, there's the run and shoot aspect of adjusting routes and being able to read coverages and those type of things that always had success here. And it's a background of mine. It's a deep-rooted background of mine since St. Louis and the University of Hawaii. And then there's the run game aspect, as well as, adding another dimension with the tight end and being able to run and add an extra gap and an RPO aspect and also tempo. Is that the fourth? I think that's the 4th time he did that.
Showing off for Timmy Chang. That's what he's doing.
He's peacocking right now for Timmy Chang. The feathers are fully fanned out.
I'm really enjoying it right here. I'm really enjoying it. I'm hoping this is an ace right here, because when he serves the ball, it's pretty special too.
Well, let's watch this. 9 serving 8. That was pretty nasty.
Yeah.
And there he is on the save. So Seward will take on the setting responsibilities. It's Hakas, one-hand save there by Gordon. Now the swing. Chalmers smothered by the Hawaii block. Voss next to Muklias. So you mentioned run and shoot principles. You mentioned RPO running game. This is going to be a multifaceted type of offense.
I think so, and very fast. And very fast. And so our kids are having to think fast. They're having to adjust to multiple formations. They're having to adjust to being physical on the perimeter and blocking. It's wide ranged, and I think if we can put all that offense together, it's going to be pretty special.
You have, obviously, there's going to be so much emphasis for the success of any offense on the quarterback position. Braden Shager is, in essence, the de facto incumbent. Returning, you have Cameron Cooper, who is a transfer from Washington State, as well as a slew of other competitors at that position. How is that position playing out here in the very early goings of this process for your program?
When you talk about the quarterback position, it's really just about distributing the football on time. Whether it's a handoff or whether it's a read and on time, throwing the ball and putting it in the correct spot so that your receivers can run after the catch. That's what we're demanding them to do. And really, the guy that can come out of camp and continue to progress over the summer and then get into training camp and continues to be high level, make the right decisions. Again, it really comes down to just, if you got 10 plays, how many of those 10 plays are you making count? And you know, if they can do that and command the offense and lead the locker room, you're gonna have your guy. And so, you know, those two guys have been doing well, and the other guys in the room have been competing as well. And the thing I love about them is they're always in the meeting rooms trying to learn and get better.
All right, so I'll ask you here. We have a few more points before the 15-point media timeout, and we'll relieve you at that point and cut you loose. But have there been, say, one or two other guys, non-quarterbacks, but either side of the ball? Just give us a couple of names of guys that have really stood out to you here so far this spring.
Quarterback, non-quarterback wise. Okay. You know, Jordan Welch was highly recruited in the Mountain West by a lot of teams. You know, he chose the University of Hawaii. I'm glad he did, because he seems to be a leader amongst the guys, and his motor has been so well. You know, Panay has been, for me, he has been another guy that I've been really loving his leadership, his role, being commanding of the defense. Isaiah Tufong, another linebacker inside there, has done well. You know, on offense, our running back Dietrich has you know, he's pretty special. You know, I'm watching him in these scrimmages. I'm just standing right behind the quarterback, and the holes he's hitting and guys he's making miss. I mean, he had a play. He caught a play, a fourth down play in our overtime scrimmage today, and scored to tie the game. And I thought it was pretty damn special. But there's guys just popping and growing and expanding their role, and that's what we want.
Yeah, that running back position is compelling. There are a few guys that are playmakers in that backfield. All right, let's get back to the Island Day spring game next Saturday, because you talked about sort of the competitive aspect of it. But this is very much for the fans. You are looking to put on a free of charge, fan-friendly event, right?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. This event's on the university and the athletic department and the football team. We want the fans to come out and just enjoy what they couldn't this past season, you know, and expect these things to come when it hits August 27th against Vanderbilt. You know, there's going to be a concert in Les Murakami Stadium. There's going to be a kids zone. There's going to be face paint. There's going to be food vendors. There's people going to be selling a lot of merchandise and gear, as well as our bookstore and our merchandising gear. And then there's food trucks and there's beer. And I've been telling people we want it to be a party environment, and that's what we're making it. And so when game's going to start at 6 o'clock, at 5:30, we're going to funnel everybody into TC Ching, and these guys are going to warm up like a game. They're going to split up like a game, and they're going to go at each other. And we're going to keep score. We're going to play 4 quarters, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I know they're going to be excited. They're going to be fired up. And you know, again, there's going to be some mistakes made, and it's going to be good correctable film that we can build off of.
Again, Island Day football spring game, April 16th, next Saturday. Gates open at 3:30 p.m. It is free admission. So go support the UH football program as Wilcox goes off the block and out. This is a very hopeful time. I think people are very excited, to have you return home, to have once again sort of the reintroduction of fans at UH sporting events, and right around the corner. It'll get here sooner than you think, right? The UH football season, and it's going to be a lot of fun, that's for sure.
It always happens so fast. You know, these years travel by so fast, and these athletes, the time that we have with them and spend with them is amazing, and it's cherished.
All right, that is a mishandle violation. Point goes to Hawaii. They get to 15 first. Timmy Chang, thank you for spending so much time with us.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's great seeing you guys. And I tell you what, if you haven't seen this volleyball team, you need to come and watch them, because these guys are special, man.
As well as the football team, Island Day next week. Take care.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome back. Big thanks once again to University of Hawaii head football coach Timmy Chang for joining us over the course of the first half of this second set. I want to remind you, Big West Men's Volleyball Tournament, we got it here for you on Spectrum Sports. It starts April 21st. First match coverage begins at 4:30 p.m. It should be an incredible tournament. Big West Volleyball, top-notch for sure. Jakob Tella been very offensive-minded here this second set. Couldn't get it down that time. Will he do it again? No, this time back sets Muklius, and he gets it down.
That is just crazy what Tella creates on offense. He took 2 blockers with him, gave Muklius a couple of moving blockers, not a blank net, but he had a couple moving blockers. See, 2 blockers go up on Tella, and he's got 2 blockers that can't quite get there, giving Nucleus a free ride.
Yeah, putting on a show for
so
the
much fun to watch,
right?
Oh, God, how fun was that? Timmy Chang says, oh, my favorite player is Jakob Tella. Next thing you know, Tella just drills 4 balls to the floor.
He turns into Rado for half of a set.
He did.
As that one is put down by Todorov. While we were talking with Coach Chang, you had Tion Shaw commit his first hitting error, but he's still got 8 kills to lead all hitters on either side, hitting .467. For Todorov, that's his 4th put down. Wilcox serves it long. And Hawaii up 3 here, 17-14. When you talk about Jakob Tella and that aspect of his game, and that's something that you mentioned, Charlie Wade really is pushing him to always have in mind, right? And telling his passers, put it close to the net so that Jakob has that as an option, at least as a threat. How does it change the complexion of this Hawaii transition game?
Oh, it changes everything. You see the blockers from Santa Barbara starting to go up with Tella now. And so that makes it so much easier on his outside hitters. And, you know, and Tion still continuing to go off on Hawaii's blockers. Having a big, big night. 9 kills now. But, yeah, you know, I really think when Tella becomes, the more offensive he becomes, the more offensive the rest of the team can become. Because he takes blockers with him all the time.
That's the key, right?
Yep.
Try to create more favorable matchups for your pin hitters, including Dimi, who gets blocked. And it falls onto the Terraflex on the Hawaii side of the net.
It was in front of Tella, but we gave him that. He didn't die for that. So he heard the rule.
Well, it looked like he laid out. Also looked like he's kind of shaking out that leg there. That block, by the way, Dane Chalmers and Brandon Hicks.
Yeah, that was a solid block up there. Hicks had a good night last night. I think he was in on 5 or 6 blocks.
Yeah, 6 blocks to be exact. Tella. Jump set goes to Hawkes, and he plugs it through the Gaucho block. Hawaii up 2. The hitting percentages coming back down to earth just a tad here for these 2 teams in this second frame. Hawaii hitting 270. Make it now with that kill 304. Jump back up above 300. Gaucho's hitting 269.
And Humler in for Galloway.
Overpass. Voss missed it long. And a wide open floor there for Guilherme Voss. Wasn't able to take advantage on that occasion. One of the few serve-receiving miscues by the Gauchos. Here's Shaw on the serve. Pass by Umler. Middle set Voss. No doubt about that one.
Guilherme Voss, when he gets the right set, the right spot on the net, there's really, he's almost unstoppable.
Voss now with 5 kills, hitting 250. Jump serve coming from Hawkes into the net. You mentioned Philip Umler out there for Hawaii. Chaz Galloway currently on the bench. He had 1 kill on 8 swings with an error, so hitting triple zeros at the moment. Hasn't quite been able to find his form over the last 2+ matches. Tella goes behind the head to Voss, dug up by Chalmers. But that back bump set, Wilcox to Shaw. My goodness, what a play that was.
Well, celebration on the Gaucho side of the net. They're just loving these broken plays. Shaw goes up from behind the 3-meter line on the broken play, the back bump set, and scores again.
With that 10th kill for Shaw, this set is tied for the 10th time. Shaw already outdoing his kill total from a night ago when he had 9. The big set to Hawkes. Goes off the hands and out.
Now, Shaw averages 3 kills a set. We're in the second set now. He's already got 10. That's 5 kills a set. He's just having quite the night. Well, he's got to find a way to slow him down.
Lost the serve. Soft touches it over. UCSB out of system a bit. Wilcox against 3 blockers. Denied access.
I think Homework came over, provided the last 2 hands to get that block. Let's take a look. Yeah, it was Humler.
Well, he has been at times a blocking sub. He has been at times an outside hitter sub, an opposite hitter.
I'm struggling with Voss's serve right now.
Shaw somehow gets it by all 6 Hawaii hands. Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And right now, Tion Shaw is lava hot.
That was like a magician. He pulled that kill out of the hat. 3 blockers up. How does he get it down? 3 blockers up, couldn't handle it. 3 diggers couldn't handle it. Credit to Shaw.
Hoagland able to get it down. Not the most definitive of spikes, but he got enough of it. And Hoagland picking up his second put down.
The main thing is he's got a one-on-one situation in the middle. No helping blockers. And when hitters are attacking, and they got a one-on-one situation anywhere, they've got the advantage over the defense.
Hoagland coming in hitting 500 on the year, and that serve causing some problems. Wilcox, free ball pass over the net. Tella with options. D-set to Dimi. The up by Chalmers. Wilcox against 3 blockers, saved by Muklias. Tella goes outside Umler. Oh, the timing wasn't there, but he somehow makes it work again. It is simply what he does.
You know, and that was not the greatest choice by Tella. You know why? Because Humler was stumbling back to get an approach on the outside.
Well, he had one of the most important kills of the match last night. Pulls that one from under his sleeve. We mentioned Philip Umler in the 3rd set last night. A critical moment. Hawaii would end up winning that 3rd frame, 28-26. He got a kill he really had no business getting, right? It was
at 26 all.
At 26 all, it was out of system. He was hitting from behind the line, 3 blockers up, somehow got it down, and just moments ago prior to that timeout, he pulled another one of those.
When he gets in, he likes to make the most of his time in there. He doesn't normally start. He comes in as a sub. That's served by Muklias out of a timeout.
Here's Wilcox, 3 blockers up. Shui stretches and saves it over the net. And a net violation is committed by Paragas. Hawaii gets the point. And it is Aloha ball in set 2. What a save by Shui.
Now imagine if 6,000 people stood up right now.
And did the Viking clap.
Ball and did yeah.
Well, they're doing the clap part. But I'm with you. If they all rise, that becomes pretty imposing.
Yeah.
Are you for real? You gotta love it. Muklias using the net, dealing an ace from the deck. Hawaii closes set 2 on a 6-1 run. And we are all square. 1 set apiece. Get cozy, folks. Number 4 and number 5 battling in Manoa. Welcome back. Here are the Pizza Hut match statistics delivered hot and fresh. UCSB taking the first 25-19. CMAC Hawaii able to flip the script in set 2, 25-20.
Yeah, basically it was a mirror image of each other. You know, Hawaii looking good in set 2 to tie things up. See the kill, Santa Barbara with 32, Hawaii 26. The kill percentage about even. Blocks, Hawaii doubling up on Santa Barbara. Look at the digs, 23-17. Santa Barbara did some tremendous digging in the back row, led by Dane Chalmers with 9. And the ace there is about even for both teams. The one big thing I think Hawaii's got to figure out is they got to figure out how Tion Shaw, he's just on fire. He's normally a 267 hitter. He's hitting 550 right now. Last night he hit a $115. So Hawaii's got to figure him out somehow. He's an enigma.
Yeah, it's as if these two teams have played so evenly through the first few phases of each set, right? And then you get to that 20-point mark, and it comes down to which team blinks first. Yeah. In the first, it was Hawaii that blinked. In the second, it was UCSB that did the same.
I told you we have a closer match tonight.
You called it.
It is so much fun to watch. Great volleyball. Great having Timmy Chang on tonight, too.
Guilherme Voss here to start set 3. And that one pumped long off the palm of Brandon Hicks. Hawaii strikes first in the third. And both teams playing, I think, with a certain level of urgency. And I'm not sure if it's because of what's happening on the periphery across some of the college landscape, certainly throughout the conference. But you had Long Beach State getting upset in 5 sets against UCSD earlier this evening. That opens the door a little bit more for these two teams now fighting for that second place position, right? Top 2 get buys in the first round of the Big West Conference tournament. And with Long Beach coming back to the field, it creates some potential scenarios here going into the final week as well.
I talked to the Santa Barbara coaches before the game, and they said, you know, whoever wins this match really has a leg up on staying, you know, out of Long Beach's side of the bracket and getting to buy that first round and maybe getting the at-large bid for the NC2A. So there's a lot of riding on this match. More than meets the eye, I think.
Yeah, you had a group of some of the top-tier MPSF teams going down earlier today as well. Your Stanford Cardinal pulling off the 2-match sweep of BYU. That helps the Hawaii RPI. And so, you know, that's very much in the ether. I know that's not something that's directly on the forefront of the minds of these players or, according to Charlie Wade, the coaching staff, but that's definitely out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Opportunity knocking as Wilcox tried to slow roll it, tipped it into the twine, and Hawaii up 3-1 in the third.
I neglected to mention last night, we should recognize Wilcox's local coaches. Rick Toon is high school coach, and club coaches, Diana McKibben, Jordan Inafuku. They've done a great job in training Ryan all these years.
Good up there by Tella. Hawkes, high ball bump set to Umler. Out of system, you call Phillip.
That was as good a back bump set as we've seen all year, I think. Look how out of system this is. Ball's popped up by Tella. Blind back bump set. That's all feel right there by Spiros Hawkes.
So 4 serving 1. Here's Shaw by the double block. He is just finding angles and seams that exploit this Hawaii resistance.
I saw Charlie Wade just take a big deep breath going, you know, what can we do to stop this guy?
"12 kills for Shaw, hitting .579. Tella goes high and away. Here's Umler. Wow! Laying the smackdown.
Umler's got a good matchup on the outside as well. He's got the smallest Santa Barbara blocker out there on the wing, and a 6'4", sort of a smallish middle blocker. So he's got the advantage there at 6'7".
Here's Shaw. Dug up by Voss over the net. It'll have to be played back by the Gauchos. Shaw a second time through the block and down. This guy has been unstoppable tonight.
You know, if Hawaii blockers lean towards Shaw, guess what? The set will start going to Wilcox on the outside, and he'll start burying it. So you really got to pick your poison against this Santa Barbara team.
Well, Brandon Hicks going for it, but hitting it into the net. And that's the 8th service error of this match for the Gauchos. They have 3 aces to go with that. Hawaii with 4 service errors and 2 service aces. 6 serving 3. Here's Muklias. The team leader in kills per set, also 22 aces on the year coming in. Good pass by Gordon. Outside it's Wilcox. And just like what you were referring to, C-Mac, Hawaii has to be cognizant of where Tian Shaw is. Wilcox getting a one-on-one matchup.
Yep, that worked out fair. And you know what? Ryan Wilcox is so resourceful in how he attacks the ball. He's got so many weapons that if he has one-on-one, he's going to bury it every time.
Nucleus blocked. Will cover there by Tella. Here's Umler, 3 blockers against him, dug up along the back line by Chalmers. Quick outside set, Wilcox roll shot, right there is Demi. Tella out to Phillip, he's blocked and it drops down.
I think he missed the post game last night when they were interviewing Umler. And at the end of the interview, he got to say anything he wanted to his parents in Czechoslovakia who were watching. And he went right back into, English. And then he did some Pidgin as well. He did 3 languages last night.
Yeah, no, you talk to him and it is absolutely undeniable how much this guy loves being in the islands. Wilcox, hard crack off the block and out. But yeah, Phillip Umler, I mean, he has really become a strong proponent of this Hawaii community, right? He has absolutely ingratiated himself to the surrounding fan base, and yeah, it even comes out, manifests itself in a little bit of Pidgin English. Oh, Hawaii scrambling here though, and wow, that second touch there by Muklias went to nowhere.
I'm not sure what was going on there.
So 6 serving 7. And an ace by Ryan Wilcox. You mentioned his time at Punahou under head coach Rick Toon. 2-time state player of the year, 4-time state champion in his buff and blue career. He was the Big West Conference Tournament MVP a season ago in this building. He loves playing here, you know that. Here's Hakas off the block and down. Spiros Hakas continues to lead Hawaii offensively.
And then during club volleyball, playing for a former Rainbow Wahine.
Yep.
Diana McKibben.
Hakas with 8 kills. Still no errors, hitting 727. Here's Hoagland. Down the line, the pass by Chalmers. Middle set, Todorov is blocked. Here's Shaw, off of the shoulder of Umler. I mean, that was almost in self-defense, that maneuver down the line by Phillip Umler. And we're tied for the 3rd time here in the 3rd. This guy has just been a mutant here this evening.
14 kills. He averages 3 kills on the year for the entire year, 3 kills a set. And tonight, he's averaging 5 kills a set.
That one just going long. Hawaii maybe getting a little fortunate there. Muklias was not necessarily in serve-receive position. But now Jakob Tella, who can change the vibe from the service line. Wilcox pops it straight up. Chalmers on the outside. And that goes off the block and into the pin. Dane Chalmers did not play in the first 4 matches of the season. With last night's loss, the Gauchos now still 15-3 when he has been in the starting lineup.
That last ball should have been challenged by Charlie Wade. The attack went into the antenna. Didn't go off Hawaii's block and in the antenna. It went directly into the antenna. At least that was my view.
Crowd trying to turn up the volume knob a little bit here. And we're going to have a call to the 2 floor captains to engage with Joseph Aguilar, the top official. What do you think this is regarding?
Hard to tell. Maybe the chatter between the trash talking between the net.
Some of the verbiage through the twine. Well, we saw Brandon Hicks. He had a few extra words to go along with some of the plays he made last night. I'd imagine Hawaii responsive, at least on a number of occasions. Shui stepping up and receiving that serve. Quick middle, it's Voss. Tried to slice it far side, but a net violation bails him out. Goes against the Gauchos. And Rick McLaughlin going to challenge this. I think he's going to say that it was Hawaii that came into the net. Well, he hasn't committed to the challenge yet. Getting an explanation from Dixon Chun. So what we are being told is the net cam that is very useful in such touch or net violation challenges, it is not available at the moment. And so I think Dixon Chun may have been explaining that to Rick McLaughlin, saying, hey, look, you can challenge it, but we're not necessarily going to have the capacity to overrule it based on not having that very critical net cam angle. McLaughlin decide to relent. Shaw. I mean, it doesn't matter where he is on the floor. He just seems to be finding all of the holes on the Hawaii side of the net.
And he showed great range. He's going big cross court. He goes down the line. He goes deep to area 6. Goes high hands. He's kind of got everything going tonight. 15 kills, only 1 error in 23 tries. He's hitting mere 609. And he's a 260 hitter on the year.
Here's Hawkes from the back row. A little high cheddar back at Shaw.
There's another guy who's having a pretty good night. Hawkes, 9 kills, no errors. He's hitting almost 700.
And we're tied for the 6th time. Iakana back to serve, but before he does, quick word between Dixon Chun and Charlie Wade. Well, if this is any indication of what is in store in a couple weeks in that Big West Conference tournament, my goodness, buckle up. Wilcox off the block, great up by Hoagland as he falls to the floor. Umler goes high hands. Sliding save Wilcox. Middle set hammered by Brandon Hicks.
Wow. That was some kind of broken play. Here's the back set from Paragas. He just somehow knew that Hicks would be there. Of course, Hicks is the guy that likes to yell for the ball, so I'm sure Hicks let him know he was there.
So this set has been tied 6 times. Each team has led on 3 different occasions, respectively. Tella goes high and away. It's Umler fading back. One hand save by Hicks over the net. So it's Shui to set. Goes to Umler, tight to the twine, and he gets smothered. That set just a little too close to the pin. And Todorov and company took advantage.
Solid block. Solid block. Santa Barbara's 3rd block of the night. There's the save.
Not a bad one-handed lefty diving save by a middle for the Gauchos.
Yeah.
And they've scored 4 in a row here, C-Mac. Here's Muklias. He got all of that one. Just rocks it to the floor.
Muklias picks up kill number 6. Maybe kill number 7 now, hitting 227. The kill percentage has got to be higher for Muklias. It's got to be up closer to 300, like a baseball hitter's average.
Yeah, he hits 330 for the year, for what it's worth. Gauchos out of system. Wilcox from behind the line, off Hoagland and out.
Not sure that was the best choice by Hoagland. He just got up and got in the way and gave Wilcox something to aim at. If Hoagland had gone down, not blocked, back row I think could have picked that up.
Oh, Hawaii way out of system. Here's Umler. Pumps it long, got a touch. When you're out of system and you need the right tool, you go to your Phillips screwdriver.
Not the flathead, the Phillips.
13 serving 14. Heavy-handed serve there by Umler. Wilcox, speaking of heavy-handed, just demolishes that set. And UCSB gets the 15 first. Are you not entertained? Gauchos and Bows going at it. Welcome back. It is a 2-point advantage for the Gauchos here. Pivotal set 3. This match tied at 1 set apiece. UCSB took the first 25-19. Hawaii turning the tables in the second 25-20. The winner of this match will be in second place in the Big West Conference standings behind Long Beach State, who just lost for the second time in league play earlier to UCSD. And what a sequence for the Gauchos. Some incredible sprawling defense leading to the Dane Chalmers put down.
So Dane Chalmers, here's the great pop-up that time in the back row from Hicks. But how about Chalmers getting the job done in the front row, and he's leading them in digging with 10 digs.
Meanwhile, Wilcox sends it long. Ryan Wilcox out of Punahou School, 12 kills, hitting .321, has 6 digs and 2 aces. Gauchos have out-aced Hawaii 5-2 here so far in this one. There's Keone Thim, 6-foot sophomore from Honolulu out of Kalani High School, transferring back home after a couple of years at Santa Barbara Community College. Looking to bring the heat, and he does, and it's an ace right on cue.
Hawaii used to having the ace numbers in their favor. Tonight, though, Santa Barbara has been, I think, serving more aggressively and tougher, and they've gotten, you know, the edge there. 5 aces to Hawaii's 2, now 5 aces to Hawaii's 3, thanks to Mr. Tim.
Oh, he was looking to really up the velocity. That one registering at 75 miles per hour, but into the twine. That one testing the strength of the knots on the net.
He is so Colton Cowell-like. When you watch him in warm-ups, he's almost exactly like Colton, hitting out of the back row, front row, even though being undersized, he just hammers. Heavy arm.
2-hand pass there, Umler. Tella goes behind the head to Voss. 1 hand up by Todorov. Chalmers blocked in room. Voss and Tella saying, "Aole."
Once again, though, Santa Barbara keeping that play alive with great digging. That time, Todorov picking up the dig.
Yeah, these middles for the Gauchos coming up with some incredible saves throughout this match. Here's Tella to serve. Good pass by Wilcox. Outside, Chalmers clobbers it. Wilcox handling Hawaii's best serve in Jakob Tella and putting it right on the money.
Wilcox also a great beach player. That's a place where you develop a lot of those passing skills.
There's Shaw to serve. Tella backstepping, goes high and away to Muklius. Layout save along the back line by Wilcox. Chalmers is dug up by Umler. And Muklius runs out of room across the way. And the Gauchos up 3. Charlie Wade's going to signal for a timeout. And Muklius making sure that everything is okay after going on the dive awkwardly into the signage across the way. Well, it appeared as though Charlie Wade was signaling for a timeout, but it, I guess, did not get registered, and so we play on here.
Well, there was enough delay there, I guess, that he was satisfied, but he's got 2 timeouts left.
Pass by Shui, it's a good one. Quick middle, Voss had to short arm it, pinballed around, and it won't be returned. Voss gets kill number 7. And you're right, I think maybe the time that it took to wipe perspiration off of the floor after the Muklius dive, and Muklius making sure that he was okay, you're right, maybe Charlie Wade was satisfied. We didn't need to actually stop the match in that instance, and it worked out for Hawaii. Here's Spiros Hakas. Another good pass by Wilcox. Here's Shaw from behind the line. The up by Shui, but a net violation goes against Hawaii.
They finally dig him. They finally dig Shaw, and they can't get the point.
So it's 20 serving 17. Shaw given his 16th kill. And Chalmers to serve. Hawaii way out of system here. Hawkes trying to save it after the ball was bettered by Muklias. Now Shaw, the big swing off the block and down. Just has been maniacal here this evening. And a timeout this time will be registered by Charlie Wade. Tion Shaw, 17 kills. UCSB by 4. Welcome back. Let's go inside the numbers presented by Long's Drugs. The number is 0. That's the number of seniors, according to eligibility, on this UC Santa Barbara roster. They have 3 juniors, 17 sophomores, 6 freshmen. Every player on the roster has eligibility remaining at the conclusion of this season. That doesn't mean that they will all come back. Obviously, grad school, other circumstances play a factor. As Guilherme Voss has been a factor for Hawaii tonight, no doubt. That's his 8th kill.
There's some other numbers that are interesting. You'd think that Hawaii with 9 kills, hitting 400, would be winning the set. Instead, Santa Barbara with 17 kills and hitting 560. Amazing.
And led by Tion Shaw, who has 17 kills. He's hitting 640. Nobody for Hawaii yet to reach double figures in kills. Gauchos have 3 of them. And that's Hicks climbing the ladder towards double figure kills as well. That's his 6th.
You got to give a lot of that credit. That 3 guys in double figures. Credit Paragas for moving the ball around, making his distribution really solid. And also got to give credit to the passers, especially Wilcox, who's passed well, and Paragas. Chalmers is a good passer as well, but I think Wilcox and Gordon have passed most of them.
Here's Umler. They need it, and he delivers. He's got 6 kills since entering the match. Hawaii leads the all-time series with UCSB 55-37. They have won the last 11 meetings with the Gauchos dating back to 2017, but UCSB obviously playing with a different intent here this evening. They look like a different team from what we saw last night.
Yeah, they really do. They're so sharp on offense.
Muklias. What a serve! That was wicked.
Muklias attacking the sideline, going at Ryan Wilcox, one of the better passers in the league. The preseason pick for All-American.
Some time being taken to wipe the perspiration off the floor. And now Rick McLaughlin will signal for an all-out timeout. So we'll keep things here, but that was a wicked serve. That Demetrius Muklias. And Hawaii within 2 here in this pivotal 3rd frame. Well, while we have a break in the action, let's check in with Ryan Kalei-Suji. What's up, Ryan?
Hey, thanks. What's going on? Well, over the years, we've called the name Enriquez many times, referring to the sons of both Julie and Guy Enriquez. I'm going to start off with you, Guy. What has it been like to finally see Avery playing here for the University of Hawaii?
It's real nice because usually we're the underdogs and we get out-cheered every time. So this time, it's really nice to cheer for the home team. Yeah.
And Julie, you know, I got to say, I remember playing volleyball at Andrew's gym and back in the day in Hilo, and you rolling up with the double stroller with Addison and Avery. Fast forward all these years later, this is Avery's senior night. You've watched these boys, your boys play over the years. Is it at all bittersweet for you?
No, not at all. We're enjoying this. We've had a great ride, and we'll be following the boys throughout their many years as being older players in a gym, I'm sure.
And Guy, I got to ask you, you know, most parents just want one of their kids to be able to play volleyball. You've had all 5. Corey, Evan, Emmett, Avery, and Addison have all played Division I volleyball. What's the secret?
Well, I think the mama has some really good volleyball genes. That's where it comes from. They just been around the gym the whole time. Yeah.
Well, I gotta say, I spent the morning playing beach volleyball with the Enriqueses, and Guy's a digging machine. Guy still got it. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Yeah, that is among the first families of volleyball here in this state of Hawaii, and a good look there at Avery, transferred home from Grand Canyon. The second Enriquez brother to play here at Hawaii, Corey, who is now part of the administrative staff here at the University of Hawaii. Also a former UH volleyballer. That one is pounded down by Todorov out of the timeout. UCSB up a 3 spot here, 23, serving 20. Have you seen a lot of the Enriquez family? How does that strike you, C-Mac?
I have. Yeah, I've worked volleyball camps for them in Oregon. And I remember Addison and Avery being like, I don't know, 5 or 6 years old. And they're like peppering for like 20 days in a row in all these camps. And then they'd be on teams that they're mostly, I think, girls camps. But they just did jump right in there and play with that team, or they play with the staff. So they were playing volleyball at a very young age.
Served there by Umler. The setup for Wilcox from behind the line. Couldn't put everything on it. Saved by Muklias. High ball out to Akas. Down the line, the dig there by Paragis sent over. Tella on 2. And the up there in the back row by Chalmers. Free ball coming here for the Bows. Tella on 2.
Timmy Chang must be in the house. Tella's showing off. Great pass by Shuey up there. No block up. Easy side out.
And you're right, somewhere Timmy Chang is smiling. Jakob Tella has been terminal on 5 different occasions here this evening for Hawaii. And a timeout taken again by the Gauchos. Man, this has been some fun, competitive volleyball to watch over the last couple of nights, and we're not even close to being done here this evening.
This has been great. You know, one of my keys tonight was for Hawaii to put the pedal to the middle when they got to 20. I think they're playing from 20 to 25 pretty efficiently so far, but unfortunately Santa Barbara got there first, and they've got a leg up, and they've got a 70% chance of scoring right here off the serve.
All right, well, let's check back in with Ryan Kalei-Suji. What's up, Ryan?
Well, it's senior weekend, of course, so we like catching up with the parents. Up next, we have Michelle, Max Rosenfeld's mom. Michelle, great to see you. What has it been like for you watching from afar and being able to cheer on the team and cheer on your son?
Awesome. It's been an awesome experience. We loved the people of Hawaii. They've been so good to him. So it made it really easy to leave our son on an island in the middle of an ocean.
You know, we talked to Max earlier, and he said that one of his sports idols is actually you. Talk about raising him, you know, in the athletic field, and how you were able to kind of raise him to be this athletic and play at Division I volleyball.
I just tried to make him go for it, and I told him that it made my life to have him say I was a baller. So I think he's a baller too, so I'm super proud of him for everything he's done.
Well, great to see you here. Thanks so much for spending time with us. Konoa, back over to you.
That's awesome. Big thanks to Michelle for joining us. Max is a good dude, man. Started off as a walk-on. Originally looking at Ivy League schools, was redirected to Hawaii, wanted to play top-level collegiate volleyball. He made a career and an education out of it. Great serve again by Umler. Wilcox drifting, hits it long, and Hawaii has completed the comeback. We start over at 23 apiece.
You know, and Max, by the way, is going to graduate with an advanced degree. So he's going 5 years. I think he got a business degree of some sort.
Oh, Umler pumps it long. And a crucial service error gives set point to the Gauchos. And Charlie Wade skips forward to make sure he gets the attention of Dixon Chun because he wanted to signal for a timeout. 24-23 Aloha ball here for UCSB in the third. Getting back to Max Rosenfeld, though, you were right. He was originally looking to enter the 2-year MBA program but he was able to get into the one-year MBA program. That's why he still has a year of eligibility. He finished, or is on schedule to finish, his master's, and so there's not really anything else for him, at least educationally, in the immediate future for him. So that's why he is being celebrated as a senior here this evening. But he talks about when he first got onto campus as a volleyball fan, watching University of Hawaii volleyball from afar. He said, I got here, I got into the practice gym, I was looking around at all these faces that I'd seen play from a distance. He said, I was starstruck.
Yeah. And he played like he was very respectful of all his teammates, and I think that he gained their respect as well with his work ethic, his attitude, his positive attitude, how hard he worked in the classroom as well. Just a great all-around individual.
Yeah, great persona, great personality. The guy's going to go on to do some really great things in life. You can definitely assume that.
Totally agree.
Also musically gifted. Lead singer and guitarist for a band back in his hometown of New Lenox, Illinois, called Peach Fuzz. I'm not sure if Peach Fuzz is still going. I'm not sure if there's going to be a reunion tour at some point, but we'll see. So out of the timeout, Ryan Wilcox will serve for set 3. The crowd trying to get in his ear. Pass by Shui is a good one. Tella, backside, Nucleus! Dug up by Wilcox, but it sails out of bounds, and we're tied at 24.
I'll tell you, Wilcox put some heat on that serve. He was not backing off at all, despite the fact it was set point. And here's a great back set by Tella. Nucleus delivering. Well, this is some great volleyball. Both teams playing at a very high level, hitting for incredibly high hitting percentages, both teams.
High energy, high anxiety. Hoagland on the serve. Took a little something off. Here's Shaw. High hands and down. They have not been able to solve the riddle that is Tian Shaw yet this evening. 18 kills for the Beijing, China native.
He's like a 1,000-piece puzzle. It'll take days to put together.
And now Sam Collins, a high school classmate at Miracosta High School with Hawaii reserve setter Jack Walmer.
Also played volleyball for my son Spencer.
With the serve, it's a good one. Tella reaches up, tried the quick set Voss. Now goes backside. Here's Nucleus blocked. The cover there by Umler. Tella sets up Hawkins from off the net. He's blocked in roof. Point Gauchos. They take set 3. Shaw, we have seen so much of him offensively. He got in on the stuff that time. And the Gauchos go up 2-1 in the match. Hawaii gonna have to play comeback style volleyball when we return. Welcome back. Time now for the Hawaii Honda Dealers highlight reel. And it has been an unstoppable series of highlights by Hao-Tian Shaw, the southpaw swinger opposite for the Gauchos. 18 kills, 3 off of his career high. He's hitting .654 and has been straight up dominant here in this match.
I'm not sure he's ever had a better night of hitting the volleyball than tonight in his life.
You'd have to go back to the first match of the season against USC. He had a career-high 21 kills on 43 attacks, by the way. Hit .349 with 6 errors. So, yeah, he totaled more kills. But look at the efficiency here. 18 kills on 26 swings with just 1 error.
It's amazing. Hawaii, I think, they've tried everything. They've tried moving the block out to the pin. They've tried moving the block more toward the middle. Backcourt has just not got. They've only had one time where they've even touched one of Tian's balls. And he's just uncanny the way he's attacking tonight.
Well, and maybe because partially it's senior night, maybe because Charlie Wade's trying to spark the Hawaii block and resistance against Shaw. Max Rosenfeld in there to start this third set.
Please turn off your flashes at this time. Boss will stay in and going out. will be Hoagland. Hoagland 2 kills, 4 errors. The 2 kills and 4 tries. He's hitting 500. Put in on 3 blocks.
So good to see Max getting some action here on senior night. It's been fun getting to know this guy. And obviously, this is the symbolic aloha. There is still more volleyball to be played here for this team, and more volleyball to be played for this team in this building. The Big West Conference Tournament coming up in a couple of weeks. Hawaii will close the regular season in Big West Conference play with a pair of matches at UC Irvine next week on the 15th and 16th. Mom Michelle, we just heard from her.
By the way, Hawaii hit 400 that set and lost by 2 to a team that hit 516 and sided out at a 75% rate. Go figure.
Here's Jakob Tella to start this 4th set. Back row, it goes to Wilcox, dug up by Tella over the net. Middle set goes to Hicks. Umler the save, tough set angle for Tella, but he finds Hakas who goes deep corner. What a piece of artistry from both Tella and Hakas.
I like Tella's dig. I don't like this set so much. He gets a little bit too tight to the net for Hakas to get a good swing at it. But luckily, Hakas is a pretty resourceful, creative guy.
1 serving 0. They could use one of those Tella runs. Back row goes to Wilcox. Net violation called against Hawaii. That's happened in a couple of instances where Hawaii has appeared to conjure up a save. And that time it gives the point to the Gauchos. And here is Shaw to serve. That kill goes to Wilcox, his 13th. Tella sets up Hakas. And no touch. And it didn't find that end line. It goes long. Hawaii down 2-1 here in the 4th. We were expecting the biggest crowd of the season here for men's volleyball. We got it. Through the turnstiles, 5,982. And that is an ace by Tian Shaw.
I think that's an indication of what might happen for Big West Conference Tournament weekend, April 21, 22, 23. I think we'll get 6,000 every night, maybe 7. Maybe more. It'll be like watching the national championship. 3 of the top 6 teams in the country are in this conference.
Well, we know one thing. There won't be any controversy over artificial sound and noise in the tournament.
It'll be the 6,000 fans that'll provide it. Right?
That's right. And away, Muklias. Able to unload that time his 9th kill. By the way, Shaw now with 3 service aces. And he has left this Hawaii team befuddled. Hawaii needs this 4th set. They have to push it to a 5th if they hope to finish this weekend in 2nd place. High ball set from Wilcox. Goes to Chalmers, he's blocked en route. Tried to finesse it over that block, but Umler, Voss, and Muklias were having none of it.
Now, Chalmers was facing 6 hands across, a pretty tight block. He tried to get cute with a little soft shot. Hawaii would have none of it.
So UCSB took the first set 25-19. They finished it on an 8-3 run. Then Hawaii closed the 2nd set on a 6-1 run to take it 25-20. 3rd set featured 8 ties. Ultimately, it went to UCSB 26-24, and here we are now in the 4th. Wilcox will just free ball it over. Tella the first touch, though. So Shui sends it to Umler against 3 blockers. The save along the back line by Wilcox, set to Chalmers off the mark. Tella again the save. Shui back to Umler. Tried to go high hands. Block slowed it down. Here's Shaw, the big swing. He's blocked, but he gets his own cover. Quick middle, it goes to Hicks. And Hicks finds the seam.
Great set from Paragas that time. He just fires it to Hicks, and Hicks ready up in the air already and beats Voss to the punch.
And you see the roar unleashed there by Brandon Hicks, the 6'4" junior from Newport Beach, California. Here's Chalmers now the serve. Pass by Shuey, it's a good one. Middle set, Voss. Right down Dole Street.
What a great addition Voss has been to this program, and his maturity, his wisdom, his athleticism.
And he's just a sophomore.
Yeah.
How delightful is that to once again remind yourself? Shaw. And it seems every time he makes a play now, the crowd just gasps as if to say, not again.
Time because it was a good pass, Rosenfeld committed on the middle, leaving Shaw all by himself out there.
Bacchus, good pass. Quick middle, it's Rosenfeld. Couldn't get it down, the save by Chalmers. Outside, it's Wilcox. Roll shot, diving save, Shuey. Tight to the net. Wiped over that time by Tella. Here's Wilcox, the swing. Sends it long. Was there a touch? And they're going to give the point to the Gauchos. Joseph Aguilar is going to overrule the other line judges and say that there was a touch. And based on that replay, it is tough to confirm that there was. And Charlie Wade's going to challenge that call. Both the line judges as well as Dixon Chun were in agreement that there was not a touch. But it was overruled by Joseph Aguilar.
And this is the most difficult challenge, I think, to pick up because the ball's traveling so fast. It's hard to pick up those micro touches.
You can tell from this angle. Hard to see it there.
It really is. I don't know. I don't think it's a touch right there. You can tell right there is no touch.
If there was a touch, it would be just off of that left pinky of Rosenfeld, but
not even close.
Yeah, from that angle, it looks very doubtful.
Yeah, that's definitely a no touch. Look at that. Doesn't bend any fingers back. Ball doesn't even come close to Max's hand, I don't think. It's an easy call.
Dixon Chun taking a long look at this.
To me, this is a simple one to call right here. It's just not even close to the hands.
Yeah, you don't really see any kind of ricochet, redirection of the ball trajectory.
Ball spin doesn't change, as you said.
But it matters what this guy thinks. And they're going to say no touch. So the challenge works for Charlie. And instead of it being 6 serving 4, we are tied at 5 here in the 4th. And Rick McLaughlin wants an explanation after the challenge ruling. Joseph Aguilar. We've enjoyed talking with him here this weekend, the R1. You gotta love his temperament. Having to deal with some really high anxiety volleyball here this weekend. Middle set, Todorov.
Another solid pass from Santa Barbara's back row, allowing Paragas to set the middle, make things difficult for Hawaii's middle blockers.
Paragas with the serve. Two-hand pass. Umler and Tella turns on two. And he rips his 6th kill of the match.
He's becoming an offensive machine.
I mean, he's attempted 10 swings here this evening.
If there's a jump floater back there, and Hawaii's passers can pass with their hands, they can put up a pretty good set for Tella.
As that serve goes into the twine. 6 kills, 6 digs for Jakob Tella to go along with the 32 assists and 2 blocks. That net serve breaks a 6-6 tie here in the 4th. Here's Wilcox. Some high cheddar there for Umler. Good save by Tella. Rosenfeld off the ricochet sets up Tella, who couldn't put it down. Here's Hakas. Cross court and in.
Santa Barbara did a great job that time of reading that Tella would swing at the ball earlier, and then Hakas gets the benefit of Hawaii getting to run a free ball after that. Because Tella's ball got blocked, and Hawaii put it up there again for him.
Here's Shaw. That pass again on the money, just allowing UCSB to run its stuff. They go backside to Shaw, and he puts it down for his 20th kill, one off of his career high. He is hitting .655. Video game-like stuff.
Yeah, it is.
That one falls over the net. Good reaction there by Tella. Pumset goes to Hakas. 3 blockers up, and he pumps it wide. And the nervousness of this crowd starting to feel a little more palpable as we steadily move along here in the 4th. Serve goes down the line and wide. And a much-needed point for the Rainbow Warriors.
I like the location of that serve, though. Working the sidelines or working the seams is the best way to go. You want to put another team out of their system.
Rick McLaughlin, facial expression still the same as it always is. Serve by Tella is a good one, forces the overpass. Voss couldn't put it down, though. Shaw with the swing is blocked. The cover by Chalmers. He gets the swing on the outside, diving save Tella. So Shui sets up Hakas against 3 blockers. Still finds a way.
What a set from Brett Stewart. Oh my goodness gracious. A side back set right on the money. How about the high hand swing by Hakas? He just continues to deliver.
12 kills for Hakas. Overpass forced by Tella. Muklia says thank you very much. And Hawaii leapfrogs in front with its 3rd straight point. First lead for the home team in this set since they were up 1-0 to start. Quick middle set, and it's plugged through by Hicks. Well, I know you've liked the set distribution by Pat Paragas here in this match for the Gauchos.
He's done a marvelous job. 3 hitters in double figures. And Hicks might be the 4th one pretty soon.
Well, that one sails off the floor, and that is another service ace for Tion Shaw. That is his 4th of the match. And it just seems like any time Hawaii gets a little something going, this guy has tormented them.
That's a good way to put it. Torment.
Voss fields the serve. Backside, it's Hakas. Popped up in the air by Shaw. Now he's playing back row defense. Chalmers goes over the block. The save along the back line there by Umler. Hakas down the line. 2-hand save. Gordon from the back row. It's Wilcox. Finds the floor. his 14th put down. And UCSB back up a deuce.
Another good second selection by Prague. He's got the Hawaii blockers all split up there.
And there are some streaks that are being threatened right now. We'll get to those as we move forward here in the fourth. Nucleus blocked and then tapped down by Voss. It just hovered above the net. And Voss was able to clean up the spill. Voss with his 10th put down. Had a career-high 11 against Long Beach State on night 2 last week. He is back to double figures there with that put down. Hawkes the serve, and it is a good one! It is in fact an ace! And we are tied in this fourth frame for the 9th time. And it is 12-12.
I think these two teams are even. What do you think? That's why they're 4th and 5th ranked teams in the country. But I'll tell you right now, they're playing like the number 1 and 2 teams in the country. The quality of volleyball, especially the offenses, have been unbelievable.
Exchanging leather at the center of the cage here right now, Hawaii and Santa Barbara. How did Wilcox make that pass? Here's Shaw. Sends it long. Was there a touch? No touch. Just the second hitting error for Shaw. If this call stands, Rick McLaughlin's going to challenge either the touch or the in-out here. We will find out. Dixon Chun will take a look at this.
I think he's going to challenge the touch at the block.
Actually, I believe he's challenging a net violation committed by Hawaii on the sequence. And you had the assistant coaches, Jonah Safe and Blaine Nielsen, who were also up out of their seats, claiming that there should have been a net.
Pretty blurry there. Tough to catch that one.
There was a little rattling of the net, though. Again, no net cam available at the moment. Seem to slightly see some movement there of the net, though. So what causes that?
Oh, there.
Or is it still shaking from the serve?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you're right. This would be a hard one to overturn, I think, if you're specifically looking for a net violation, because the serve got the net shaking. And I'm not sure if it is shaken any further on this exchange here.
I don't see any touches there by either Voss or Homer.
And the call will stand. Just to add a little more drama to the festivities. And just the second hitting error for Tion Shaw, proving, at least in that instance,
he's human.
To be human. Third team serving 12. Hawkes goes right at Wilcox. Outside, Chalmers through the block and down. I mean, you have to pay so much attention to Shaw. Then you have Wilcox, who can fly out of the back row. Brandon Hicks has been doing the deed in the middle of the net. And then there's Dane Chalmers.
Chalmers has hit a 375. Passing well, digging well. Might still be their leading digger. He is at 12 digs.
Tella goes backside. Here's Nucleus. That one pinballed around and it will be returned. Tella back to Nucleus again. Tools the Wilcox block and gets his 11th put down. And now Keone Thim will enter the match to serve. Voss receiving some love from the fans on his way to the bench. Thim also receiving an ovation. He's becoming a bit of a fan favorite.
He is.
tape. Backside Shaw against one block, sends it long. They're going to call a touch.
Homer got a piece of it.
And that is kill number 21 for Tion Shaw, matching his season and career high. And we're tied for the 11th time. Into the net, it goes from Hicks. And Hawaii gets to 15 first. An opportunity to catch your breath. Don't move. This thing's getting good. Welcome back. We got some action from around the way in the UH athletic department. Rainbow Warrior baseball team up 10-6 on Riverside in the bottom of the 7th. That's over at Les Murakami Stadium. At Rainbow Wahine Softball Stadium, Cal Poly over the home team, Lady Bows 8-7. That's a final. And beach volleyball earlier today, Grand Canyon over Hawaii 3-2. Hawaii did get LMU, though, earlier 3-2. And then you got women's tennis, Rainbow Wahine over the Anteaters of UC Irvine 7-0. Part of the reason why the lower campus parking was shut down before just about everybody was able to enter the arena as Tella just eclipses Wilcox.
That was one solid block. Wilcox does not get blocked that often. He's almost a 300 hitter, so he finds a way to keep the ball in play, put it down most of the time. Tella would have none of that.
16 serving 14. Muklias, the heater.
Comeback kid of the week. After really a dismal outing last week in Long Beach, Demetrius Muklias absolutely getting the job done from behind the service line. His attacking, blocking, every part of his game has gotten better.
And he admitted as much. He said he's very aware that he needed to play better. He accepted that challenge last night. It paid off. And he is still grooving here so far this evening. 17 serving 14. Sends that one long. 64-mile-an-hour serve attempt.
A couple of interesting numbers on the night. Santa Barbara, 61 kills to Hawaii's 49. Santa Barbara, 41 digs to Hawaii's 28. In a long time since we've seen that kind of disparity.
Tella falling to the floor. Back sets Muklias, dug up by Paragas. The swing, Wilcox against 3 blockers. It's tapped down by Todorov, but that's going to be an interference call. They're going to say it was still on the Hawaii side of the net. Did you see earlier in the sequence, though, that diving forward back set by Jakob Tella?
Pretty amazing. Yeah, there's the ball completely on Hawaii's side. That's illegal.
We're going to take some time to wipe some perspiration off of the floor here. I mean, that was the kind of set that I'm not sure there's another guy in the country that can pull that off.
Yeah, that's why he's, even in the fall tournaments, I remember talking to the coaching staff when they came back. There's that set, diving. The easier set would have been to set it forward, by the way. Instead, he goes the difficult one backwards. But the coaching staff were coming back from the fall tournaments in the mainland saying, by the way, Jakob Tella was the best setter in the tournament. And there were teams that were really good in these tournaments in the fall.
Well, after some significant thought during that delay, Rick McLaughlin has attempted to issue a challenge.
No challenge. Hawaii 7, 18
After the delay, let's see how much heat Humler can put on this one.
So no challenge. It's 18 serving 15. Wilcox overpass. Rosenfeld making the most of his situation. Max protection at the net.
Well, there's Mom. She's happy. I think I detected a tear there. I'm not sure.
On senior night, Rosenfeld coming through on the highlight reel play, but Todorov gets the side and the point back for UCSB.
Great cutback that time by Todorov. Saw the block taking his cross court, so he just cut back across his body. One-on-one, he's going to win that battle most of the time.
Here's Wilcox. Diving pass there by Shuey. High ball outside set. It's Hawkins off the fingertips. Sliding save Chalmers. Backside Shaw goes off the block. It slowed it down. Backside Muklius. Just explodes on the set.
Where did that come from? The spindly 6'6" Muklius comes up with some major heat. That was an explosion, like you said. A laser beam.
That was as hard a ball as we've seen Muklius hit maybe in his career.
I would agree.
20 serving 16. Panayakana in the serve. Down the line, it's a good one. Great pass, Chalmers. Middle set, Todorov. Straight down to the Terraflex. What a pass by Chalmers.
Great pass. Really good pass. Good serve down the line by Akana. Who got Chalmers on his, on his back, basically, which took him out of the play. So the ball had to go to the middle. But Todorov, very effective, getting that angle shot.
Reese Barnett, 6'5" sophomore, another southpaw server from Redondo Beach. And that was one of those C-Mac touch-em-alls.
Touch-em-all is right.
So the out serve gives the point to Hawaii. They're up 4. Jakob Tella now behind the service line. Hawaii trying to force a fifth. Tickles the tape. Falling to the floor. Wilcox pops it straight up in the air. High ball bump set. Chalmers diving save. Shuey advantage Hawaii. Here's Hawkins. The save by Wilcox. Great effort by Chalmers. Will it be returned? It will be. What a play by Paragas. Tella backside. Muklius. Another Demetrios detonation. And it's an 8-3 Rainbow run. They're up a handful. Timeout Gauchos. We'll take a break as well. Well, Hawaii now with 3 players in double-figure kills, led by Demetrios Muklius. Team high 13 slam downs on 33 attempts. He's hitting .333. Also, lighten the torch from the service line on the ace right there. Out of the timeout, Hawaii by 5. Middle set. The dig by Tella on the hip swing. Tella has to bump it over. Free chance here for the Gauchos. Backside Shaw. Was there a touch? And there will be a touch called. It's a point for the Gauchos. The call by Joseph Aguilar is that it got a piece of the Hawaii defender. I think it was Tella in the back row. And the argument being made here by Jakob Tella, Charlie Wade saying he had a good angle on it. Jakob telling his head coach that he did not touch it. It would be him if that's the call. Does it get a piece of Jakob there on the shoulder? Doesn't appear as though it does. Charlie Wade challenges the call. Charlie Wade telling us from his position on the sideline. It was closer to hitting me than it was to hitting Jakob. What do you think, C-Mac?
I think it looks like Jakob might touch it, but I don't think he does. But he makes it look like, you know, with the fallback there, he might have touched it. I don't think it does. See if the spin changes in the ball there. Watch the spin. Spin didn't change at all.
And I think there was another instance, Joseph Aguilar seeing the touch from his vantage point across the way. I don't believe the line judge had a touch here.
No, it was the referee's call, R1 call. But because Jakob made that move to get out of the way, I think that Aguilar thought that, oh, he must have touched it.
Well, that line judge did, in the lower corner of your screen, did signal touch. So Aguilar, though, agreeing that it got a piece of Jakob's shoulder.
Let's go ask Jakob if he touched it or not.
Well, Jakob, he had at the very least sold it to his head coach that he didn't touch it. Initially argued the point with the R1, Joseph Aguilar.
That's not a touch.
We'll see. It's going to be a point for Hawaii.
That's the correct call.
And it is, instead of 18 serving 22, it is now 23 serving 17 here in the fourth.
Big challenge there.
Jakob to bring it. Pass by Wilcox. It's a good one. He gets the set from the back row. The net slowed it down, and Umler with the save. Here's Hakas. Got a piece. Got the kill. Hawaii will have a long ball to send it to a fifth.
See what Hakas did there? He pointed to tell us, saying, you know what? Thanks, buddy. That was the perfect spot. Very hittable ball. The ball had hit me, written all over it.
And Hakas obliged. Oh, the net just kept it on the Hawaii side. But it remains Aloha ball here in the fourth. Tian Shaw, who has 4 service aces, back behind the line.
I'm going to say he tries too hard to hit this one, get an ace.
And he misses the floor.
Just saying.
Chris Stradamus next to me. Calling the final point before it even happened. Hawaii closes set 4 on an 11-4 run. The senior Rosenfeld getting in on the fun. Mom loves it. We're playing a fifth. Welcome back. We are headed to a 5th and decisive set here between the 2 top 5 squads of UCSB and Hawaii. It is senior night for the Rainbow Warriors. Ryan Kalei-Suji has been touring around the arena, finding family members of the seniors tonight. He's with another. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, what a way to celebrate senior night. We're here continuing to be in the parents and family section. I'm joined by Kyler's mom, Misty. Great to see you here. Talk about this environment and being here in the Simplify Arena at Stan Shore Center.
Well, this is one of the most special places you can play men's volleyball, so it's been phenomenal to be here.
And talk about being able to see Kyler be a part of this program, this in his last year, being able to extend his 5th year here at the University of Hawaii.
Well, that again has been a very special opportunity. This is the culture, the spirit is like no other in men's volleyball.
Well, I know you're cheering loud, and we'll be all cheering this 5th set. Thank you so much. Got the signs and everything. Back over to you.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. It's been great to hear from the family members. It's been awesome to see the support once again swelling for this program. And hey, look, Kyler PRESHO, who made his name in the collegiate game at Stanford before transferring over to Hawaii at a time where the initial thought was that Stanford's program would cease to continue. was looking to play his final year, came to a place where his dad starred and became such a legend and part of the history and story of this program. It's been awesome to have a PRESHO back in a Hawaii uniform.
And Tyler's mom, by the way, was instrumental in getting the team to reform and get reinstated by the university. She was on the parent committee, so to speak, and I served with Tyler on some other committees, and it was pretty special the way the program got started up again.
Well, this crowd is roaring at the moment. They finally come to a bit of a quiet here as we get set to start set number 5. Some streaks that are on the line. Hawaii 15-0 at home this year. They have won the last 11 meetings with UC Santa Barbara going back to 2017. Trailing 2-1. They take the fourth 25-18. Here we go. Set 5 underway. Tella with the serve. Set goes outside, and it is Chalmers going off of Voss and down, and the Gauchos strike first.
Chalmers with kill number 12. He's also got 13 digs to lead everybody on the floor. What a night Dane is having.
And now Shaw to serve. Has been so dangerous from the service line. Case in point, that is his 5th service ace of the match.
And the scouting report I got from Charlie Brand, former Wahine volleyball coach, was that Shaw really struggles to find the 900 square feet. Not tonight.
I mean, he is throwing darts tonight. And seemingly hitting all of his intended targets. It is quickly, just like that, 2 serving nothing here in the 5th. Shaw taking something off. Tella goes backside. Hawkins, they need it. Goes cross court. Got a touch. Gets the kill. Number 14 for Spiros.
Important to be point scoring in the early parts of a 15-point set. You can't let another team run away and hide from you early on.
Outside, Chalmers down the line, too hot to handle for Tella. And it is 3 serving 1. Well, fans getting their money's worth here this evening, and there were some parking issues from what we understand. A bunch of the fans who came out for this largest crowd this season for men's volleyball late arriving because of it. Pass goes over the net. A great serve. Quick middle. It's Hicks off the block. Slowed down. Saved there by Umler. Tella goes middle. Voss! Straight down to the floor.
You know, this crowd could have been larger, I think, Canola. There might have been people who turned around and went home. Watched it on TV.
I actually do know of a few that did, unfortunately. They weren't sure of what the alternate plan would be.
It was because we had baseball on campus as well.
Softball,
beach volleyball.
Big crowd for this match, obviously. Yeah, and so the combination, as people start coming back, made it pretty tough to handle. And Wilcox again doing that sort of throw down maneuver. Able to go off the block and down. It's 4 serving 2.
Another solid serve by Kana. He seems to be so steady and consistent when he comes in. He'll come in and he not only will get the ball in play, maybe get an ace, he'll also dig balls back there in the back row.
There's Brandon Hicks. High toss. Blasts it over the net. Tella outside. Umler couldn't get it down. Wilcox tight to the net. Left hands it over. Diving save. Hawkins touched by Muklius and sent over free ball style. Advantage Gauchos. Here's Shaw. Dug up by Shui. Tella. High ball to Umler. 3 blockers up. He's dug up over the net. And he'll field it. Hawaii on the attack again. Backside. Muklius. The tip. Couple of great saves by the Gauchos, and they return it again. Did it go wide of the pin? Yes, it did. Blasted down by Dimi, but it was already called or signaled out Joseph Aguilar.
Rally. Bodies flying everywhere. Look at that. 3 bodies down. Half the Santa Barbara lineup is on the floor in that rally.
And then this pass by Wilcox trying to extend the sequence went outside the antenna. And you had the line judge there ferociously trying to indicate that it was wide of the pin. Joseph Aguilar then agreeing, and Hawaii ultimately getting the point. Great spatula maneuver by Paragas on that save, by the way, to keep that sequence extended for another moment. Nucleus on the serve. He's been good from the service line tonight. High ball to Wilcox, 3 blockers up, tries to go avoidance mode, dug up by Hawkes, back set to Nucleus, and Tella mishandles it.
A rare error from Tella.
I mean, you almost never see that.
The other thing is about Tella, I think one of his great strengths is setting from behind his head as opposed to the forward set. He's more accurate going back, so to see a double contact there, very, very unusual.
So here is Pat Paragas out of Corona Del Mar High School, 6-foot sophomore. 4th year with the program, though. Brings it across, floats it deep. May have been an out ball played by Hawkes. D-set goes to Nucleus. Dug up by Gordon. Set the opposite way, tight to the net. Shaw couldn't handle it. Point for Hawaii.
I feel like we're watching a heavyweight boxing match, and they're just trading blows.
Yeah. This is the 15th round. 2 weary fighters conjuring up whatever energy they have left in the tank and just swinging haymakers. Umler tickles the tape. Backside, the tip by Wilcox, played up by Hawkes. Bump set back to Spiros. 3 blockers up, it goes off the shoulder of Paragas. Great diving save by Wilcox. We play on. Tella, middle, Hoagland, popped up by Gordon. High ball bump set, Paragas hits the scoreboard, and it will not be returned.
We are seeing a little bit of everything tonight. Now the scoreboard's in play during rallies.
We are tied as the dust settles after that rally at 5 in the 5th. 5s are wild here in Manoa. What a match. What a battle this has been. Umler the serve. Here's Wilcox, sends it long. Was there a touch? No touch. Point for the Warriors, and they jump in front. For the first time, Hawaii holds the lead in the 5th. Misses wide. Umler trying to pinpoint it and almost pulled it off.
I like the way he's trying to hit sidelines as opposed to hitting straight ahead so that their passers have an easy time of it.
Now Wilcox, 2 service aces this evening. That one slowed down by the net. Here's Tella to Hawkes, plugs it through the block and down. Ferocious on that attempt.
He just muscled that one through Kanoa. That was sheer will. Powers it right through and down. Actually, a pretty well-formed Santa Barbara block that just didn't penetrate over quite enough.
Very happy. Here's Keone Thim. Rips it over the net. Gaucho's out of system. Shaw off balance. Pancake saved by Umler. Bump set to Hawkes. What a play!
Oh, man. Let's have some pancake here, Kanoa. There it is. Pops right up off Umler's hand. Bump set up. Hawaii can do no wrong.
And we're going to have a challenge by Rick McLaughlin, and this may be as much just to settle the atmosphere a little bit.
Yeah.
He's going to challenge that the ball hit the floor as opposed to Umler sliding the spatula underneath.
That looks pretty clean to me. See the hitting percentages we just showed there for the fifth set? 091 to 545. That's significant.
Does this replay show anything? It looks like his hand gets clearly under the ball, and Dixon Chun has already pulled the headset off. But again, that may be as much a timeout type of maneuver. Remember, they're still not swapping sides here in the fifth. And so while there would usually be a timeout, first team that gets to 8, chance to regroup, that's not there. So I think that challenge as much just a stoppage of the action as anything else.
Each coach has 2 timeouts left.
Great bump set assist by Phim on that last sequence. And then he deals an ace out of the deck.
I think that was probably pretty close to 70 miles an hour.
Some high velo smoke action. Keone Phim, Hawaii by 3 in the fifth. Series record, Hawaii leads 55-37. They've won 11 straight going back to 2017, including last night a sweep victory. This has been an entirely different kind of match. We are approaching 3 hours here. The UH baseball game going on at Les Murakami Stadium's in the 9th. Baseball may end before volleyball here this evening. Keone Phim just dealt an ace, goes down the line. They're going to call that long. Almost got another ace, and he seems a little confused. He thought he got it. And to be honest, from this angle in real time, it looked awfully close.
That is close.
Charlie Wade.
Very close.
Charlie Wade thinks it's close enough to at least issue a challenge. And so Dixon Chun, who has been as busy as anybody here on the Manoa campus tonight, is going to don the headset once more. This is a high heat serve. It's hard to tell. I'm not sure there's enough there to overrule if there's another angle that could help. What do you think?
I think it looks more, if anything, it caught the outside of the white line, but it's really hard to tell.
It is microscopic. Charlie Wade making his opinions very clear for us. He says, hey, look, it might be more out than in, but if it's in at all, it's in. He might be right. I mean, it may have just caught a piece, but is there enough there to overturn the call on the floor becomes the question.
I don't think so. I think it's not going to be overturned. And this is a really hard angle right there. This is from too far away. But if there's any brown, ooh. looks like it hit some brown there.
Dixon Chun's not going to overrule it. Charlie will don the sarcastic smirk. Not sure he still fully agrees, but Keone Phim gets an ovation. Did a stellar job out there in those last few sequences. And here's Sam Collins on the serve. Charlie chatting with Dixon Chun, though, at the moment.
He was trying to find out how many challenges he has left. Because you did get an extra one in the fifth set.
Correct. Here it comes from Collins. Pass by Stewart. It's a good one. Tella outside. Hawkus!
Spiros Hawkus, kill number 17. Getting over 400. What a night he is having.
And it is indeed a rarity this evening. Baseball has ended before volleyball here on the Manoa campus. The Rainbow Warriors winning 11-7 over Riverside. They score 7 runs in that 7th inning and led by Jacob Igawa's 4 RBIs as Tella serves it long. Oh, Hawaii was feeling really good about that positioning. Up 3, 10-7 with Jakob Tella at the service line.
You're right.
And now you got to deal with this guy's serve. 5 aces this evening. Tion Shaw has been exquisite. And he does it again.
How about 6 aces? What a night. It's got to be a career night for him. It's got to be.
Charlie Wade signals for a timeout. Tion Shaw has been otherworldly, and he brings the Gauchos back to within 1 in the 5th. Tion Shaw has never had more than 2 aces in a single match. He just dealt his 6th of this evening to get the Gauchos back within 1. What a turning of the tides. You had Jakob Tella behind the service line for Hawaii with the Bows up 3. He serves long. Shaw gets an ace. Now it's a 1-point match. Voss off of that sweet nectar to the middle by Tella, and Hawaii back up a deuce.
A great pass up that time by Philip Humler so that Tella could run the middle.
And it is a new career high for Guilherme Voss. 12 kills, hitting .417. Hawkus the serve. Pass by Chalmers. Back row said Wilcox. The net slowed it down. Shui the save. Backside Nucleus. You betcha.
You see how quickly Nucleus went over to Brett Stewart, grabbed him by the head and said, great dig. Thanks for keeping us in the play. Right there, great dig by Shui. Probably his most important dig of the night.
12 serving 9. Hawkus. Another good one. Outside is Chalmers. Blocked and roofed. Nucleus and Voss return it to sender. And Hawaii goes up 4 in the 5th.
And Chalmers has been a tough problem to solve all night long. He's played so well. But finally, Hawaii gets 2 blockers out from him who couldn't stop him.
A 3-0 run for the home team. Nucleus maybe getting away with a after-the-fact point. 2 Chalmers through the twine. Emotions running a little high here in a very high-anxiety affair. But it is Hawaii 2 points away from pulling this thing off, C-Mac.
What a great night in the arena. Look at that. Hawaii hitting .643 in the 5th set, and Santa Barbara flatlining it. As many kills as they have errors. Very unusual, to say the least.
I mean, if Hawaii pulls this off, they would be doing so on a night where they are being out-hit in terms of total kills. They are being out-dug. They are being out-aced.
Yep.
The only category Hawaii is leading at the moment is overall hitting percentage and total team blocks. Let's check in with Ryan. What's up?
Hey, well, here on the Santa Barbara sideline, they're really just trying to control the emotion of this team, saying, don't let the crowd get to you. We realize how hard it is to play in this environment. They're just trying to lower the excitement of their players to be able to just manage this pass. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Yeah, Charlie Wade, after the match last night, said last night was the most fun in this building in 2 years. I think we've topped it just 24 hours later.
I would agree. I think it's great coaching advice by Santa Barbara as well to get their players just to calm down and not let all this noise in the arena bother them.
13 serving 9. Out of system for the Gauchos. Here's Shaw against 3 blockers. Played off the net. Somehow it crawls over the net. And then pushed over
sideline this excited in a long time.
Whatever shortcomings Demetrius Muklius was experiencing last week were left in Long Beach, because this guy has been nails here this weekend. Muklius, 16 kills, just 2 hitting errors, hitting .368 tonight. And a season high here in this building of 5,982 through the turnstiles. To their feet. Aloha ball in the 5th. The pass by Wilcox, a good one outside. Chalmers, dug up by Seward. Tella to Muklius. Hits it wide, no touch. But they will remain standing as it remains Aloha ball.
Hawaii will have 5 total chances to put this away. They dig by Shuey to give Hawaii a chance to swing for that 15th point.
Chalmers to serve. Pass by Huckus. Pulls Tell off the net. He goes backside to Demi off the block. Good save, Paragas. Bump set tight to the net. It falls helplessly out of bounds. And Hawaii has done it in 5. After being down 2 sets to 1, the Rainbows rise on senior night, closing this 5th set on a 5-1 run to assume 2nd place in the Big West Conference standings.
We're talking about Demetrius Muklius. There he is right there. You forgot to mention that last night he had 10 kills, no errors in 20 swings. Tonight, 17 kills and only 3 errors in 40 swings. It's 350. What a weekend for Demi.
Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the match. I think it was an easy call for UC Santa Barbara. What say you? Tion Shaw, 21 kills, tying a career high, .447 percentage, 2 blocks, 3 digs, and also a career high 6 service aces. He was just phenomenal. And on the side of the Rainbow Warriors, we're going with the 3 seniors, AVERY ENRIQUES, Kyler PRESHO, and Max Rosenfeld. They will be honored here in just a few moments. But we're waiting for word with Charlie Wade. Tonight was special. Tonight was enthralling. And in the end, it is made that much sweeter because the home team pulled it out in come-from-behind fashion.
Do you think the fans got their money's worth tonight?
I would say so. As mentioned, even the late arrivers, even they got their money's worth.
Yeah. What a battle between these 2 squads. And again, I'll say it again. They look like the number 1 and 2 teams in the country, not numbers 4 and 5. But if you ask any volleyball experts these days, they'll tell you that the top 5 teams in the country, anybody can beat anybody on a given night.
Well, Charlie Wade, the winning coach, is with Scott Robbs.
Coach, congratulations. That was unbelievable. What a high-level night of volleyball.
Yeah, it really was from the get-go. You know, both teams really played at a high level, and how about these fans? I mean, really carried us through again, and a lot of fun night of volleyball for sure.
Yeah, I was going to say, largest crowd of the season, about 6,000. How much did that help you guys?
Well, it helped a ton, yeah, and I hope everybody sees how much it does help us and come back in a couple weeks and help us win another Big West championship.
You know, this is one of those matches where you needed everybody to contribute, and everybody really did.
Yeah, no doubt. Like I said, it ain't depth unless you play it, and we were pushing buttons all night, getting guys out there, and fortunate enough to come out with the win.
All right, enjoy it, Coach.
All right, guys. Aloha. Thank you.
Aloha.
Thanks a lot, Scott. Once again, Hawaii wins it in 5, 15-10 in the 5th. The Rainbow Warriors improved to 20-5 on the year, 5-3, and now in 2nd place in the Big West Conference standings. The Gauchos fall to 16-8. 5-4 in the league. Hawaii improving to 16-0 at home this year. All right, C-Mac, before we toss it to the senior festivities and the post-game show, I'll give you the last thought.
Well, just a tremendous night of volleyball. Both teams, especially hitting for such high percentages, both well over 300 for the night. Great digging all night, especially by Santa Barbara. They had 49 digs in the night, Hawaii with 41. And to think that this is just the beginning of what's the most exciting part of the season, the Big West Conference coming up. Next week, they go to Irvine, a very good Irvine team. And I just think that the best is yet to come, believe it or not.
That's right. In a couple weeks from now, it is going to be on here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Once again, don't forget about the senior night festivities in just a moment. But for now, for CMAC, Chris McLaughlin, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Until next time, everybody, we bid you aloha from Manoa.
From Spectrum Sports, it's the Hawaii Honda Dealers post-game show.
And back at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, there you see the final scores. Hawaii winning a thriller in 5. It's time now to start celebrating the seniors. We turn over to the public address announcer, Ben Kia'aina.
For the senior night ceremony. Joining us on the court tonight is University of Hawaii President David Lasner, Assistant Athletics Director and Senior Women Administrator Lois Mannon. And from the University of Hawaii Federal Credit Union, please welcome Vice President Brian Anderson, Services Manager Vivian Jesse, and Marketing Supervisor Riley Yamamoto. As the 2022 season begins to wind down, we'd like to recognize 3 members of the senior class as they make one of their final appearances here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Our first senior comes from a volleyball family. 4 of his brothers played collegiate volleyball, including his eldest brother, Corey, who also suited up for the Rainbow Warriors. This senior came to Manoa for his final year of eligibility after playing 4 seasons at Grand Canyon University, where he made 49 career starts. This season, he has appeared in 7 matches as a defensive specialist. He is working towards a master's degree in marketing management and aspires to be a business owner someday. Volleyball fans, let's hear it for the Big Island's own 5'10" defensive specialist from Pahala, Hawaii Island, number 15, Avery Enriquez.
And Avery Enriquez continuing in that legacy of Enriquez volleyball genes. Talked to the parents during the broadcast and during the match as he's joined by his dad, Guy, mom, Julie, here on the court. Also joining him is his brothers, Emmett and Corey. But really just amazing to see this volleyball family and how much talent has been able to be produced and play here at the Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center.
Avery shared earlier today that he was just so happy to be able to come home and play in his home state, yet alone on Oahu, being from the Big Island, knowing that he now has a brotherhood here on Oahu, and he's really been fortunate to spend a lot of time with his older brother, Corey.
Our next senior is another grad transfer who was a 4-year starter at Stanford before making his way to the islands to finish out his collegiate career. He joins an exclusive club as a second-generation Rainbow Warrior, following in the footsteps of his father, who starred for Hawaii and was All-American in the 1990s. This senior has made 7 starts at middle blocker this season and leads the team with a .568 hitting percentage. He is working toward a master's degree in marketing management and hopes to play professional volleyball before settling in a career in commercial real estate. Volleyball fans, show your aloha for the 6'8" middle blocker from San Clemente, California, number 8, Kyler PRESHO.
PRESHO, who has been such a welcome addition to this Warrior squad, bringing maturity, bringing leadership, bringing experience into the locker room, and really helping this team grow. He battled in that middle blocker position, and while we may not have seen him a whole lot in game times, he really pushed the other starting middles to help them get better.
What a great opportunity to celebrate senior night here as his senior year at Stanford. They've had an inter-squad scrimmage, which was his final match there. But the brotherhood that he has created here at the University of Hawaii will be with him forever, following again in his dad's footsteps, but making his own marks.
Keep going, huh?
And joining him is his mom, Misty.
Is his mom, Misty Hartog.
How do you do? They really say I love you.
Our final senior made the journey from the Midwest to the Hawaiian Islands 5 years ago. After redshirting in 2018, he went on to appear in 41 career matches over the next 4 seasons. He made 3 starts last season and was an instrumental role player for the team during their run to the national championship. This season, he has made 7 starts and is among the team leaders in blocks per set. He has already earned a bachelor's degree in psychology and is set to receive his graduate certificate in conflict resolution. He hopes to play professional volleyball while also continuing to make music in his spare time. Volleyball fans, let's hear it one last time for the 6'7" middle blocker from New Lenox, Illinois, number 13, Max Rosenfeld.
Max Rosenfeld has provided so much to this team over his years. Of course, the abilities that he has that he showed on the volleyball court, but more than that, his personality is just been one that has resonated with his current teammates and his former teammates. Just a great all-around player. And, you know, he really wants to make Hawaii his home. He loves it here. He wants to be able to continue to give back to the community. And he does all that he can to try to help the next generation of volleyball players as well. But such a great person, a multi-talented athlete who also is a great musician.
As a walk-on, he's made his mark. Definitely not only a walk-on, but 5-year career and an NCAA championship. Truly an inspiration to many others, knowing that they can walk on and do some great things.
And it was great to see Max have an opportunity to get inserted into the match, provided some really key points there in that 4th set, and that has been his role all throughout his career, just being inserted and having to help elevate the team when he's needed the most.
Always jumping in and always making the best of his opportunities. He always contributed with sparks on the team. Now you see him, now you don't.
Yeah, it's kind of like high school graduation, right? And, you know, good for him. He got a chance to go out and see some action in tonight's match. I mean, it was a thrilling 5-set win for Hawaii, and he was definitely a part of that.
I think that he also probably seriously misses his teammates from last year. We saw Colton Cal here tonight, but Rado Parpunam, all the memories that he's created through his 5 years on this team.
All right, so senior night will continue. The Bows got the win in 5, and when we come back, we'll have the always emotional senior video.
Welcome back to the Hawaii Honda Dealers post-game show.
Well, the senior ceremony continues inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Up next, we're going to have the senior video, and then stick with us, because when we come back after that, we'll talk about tonight's match and look forward to the rest of the season.
This past season has definitely been amazing. You know, the people and the relationships that I've made has definitely been, you know, outstanding. You know, even the people that I've known growing up, like Chris McLaughlin, and, you know, just seeing him, being able to see him all the game days, and being able to just experience like the level of play that he's you know, these teammates of mine and coaches they have that, and the knowledge that the coaches have, like, it's just been amazing, and being in the home environment for the crowd. As my last year in eligibility, I try to, like, you know, like, take a step back and realize where I am, and, you know, like, the people that I'm with, like all the teammates, you know, being with them in the moment on trips and stuff. Like, I think valuing like where I am and knowing like to enjoy myself with the people around me, I think that is something that I've taken away from this year. I definitely will miss the competition. Not only are the boys on the team competitive on the court, but off the court, they're like super competitive as well in like all things. And me growing up with 4 brothers, you know, I'm super competitive all the time. So that's one thing I'm definitely gonna miss.
There were a bunch of decision-making factors that really kind of added up here. Obviously great program, obviously great place to live, great coaching. You know, the players that come here become a lot better, a lot quicker, and it's pretty evident. You can see that. So that's something I definitely wanted to take advantage of. Getting here and meeting the guys and, you know, living the lifestyle, I definitely think that I made the right choice. The culture in our gym is pretty much unmatched. We have guys pushing each other every single day. Yeah, like I said, the culture we've established is to, you know, work hard, play hard. Everybody's holding themselves and each other to a higher standard, which, like I said earlier, it really makes you better, and it makes everybody better. I think I'll miss the locker room the most. You know, as much as I love all the great memories that you can make on the court, and you know, there's nothing like pulling off a big win, you know, at somebody else's place or at home, but just like those little moments that you have with your teammates in the locker room and all the laughs that you have and just being able to bond with those guys, I think that's the stuff that I'll miss the most.
Yeah, I was just watching NCAA volleyball and it just looked like they were having a really good time out there. There's guys that really liked playing together and it looked like a really cool atmosphere. I reached out to Josh near the end of my senior year in high school. And I had other schools that I was considering going to, and yeah, Josh said that they would have a walk-on spot for me, so I came in and tried out as a freshman. Joe gave me a tour of the whole campus. He was nice, took me to open gym, so there's older guys taking me under their wing a little bit, which is nice thing to do. I think that that's a unique thing about our program too. I think that it's just taught me more about commitment to something, and if you're gonna invest time in something, you know, you gotta give it your all while you're doing it. I would say it's the fans. Just the support is unmatched anywhere in the country, and it's not even close. You know, especially the road schedule we have this year, we get to see a pretty diverse, you know, types of teams and stuff like that. You know, so for us to come back to the stand, it's unmatched. Just the enthusiasm and just the passion that people have for the sport is really unique.
UCSB night number 2, Deion Shaw was just awesome for the Gauchos, the left-handed opposite, with a match-high 21 kills on a .447 hitting percentage. He also added 6 service aces, as nobody could really slow down him. On the Hawaii side, how about Philip Humler? Like an evening ago, came into the second set and then played the rest of the way and really steadied out Hawaii from that left side. Philip with 7 kills, hit .400, and added a couple of blocks. Spittles Hawkins again having a great night, particularly down the stretch when Hawaii needed him. Hawkins 17 kills, hit .438. He also had a couple of service errors, and his countryman, his teammate, Dimi Muklius really has rebounded nicely this weekend after last week. He also had 17 kills, hit .350 from the opposite spot on 40 swings, had 3 service aces, 4 blocks. Hawaii needed every one of those guys to help out, including the man that runs the show, Jakob Teller, who was very offensive tonight. In fact, swung 11 times, had 6 kills, added 47 assists. He had 8 digs, 3 blocks, and just ran a terrific offense that ended up hitting .387 on the night as Hawaii goes to 5 and wins it over the Gauchos.
Welcome back to the Hawaii Honda Dealers post-game show.
All right, let's take a look at the final numbers from this marathon match that Hawaii pulled out. And guys, you look at those numbers, what really stands out to you? Maybe the errors?
Well, it's also the hitting percentage at .387 compared to .315. High hitting percentage for a 5-set match goes to show you that both teams were playing pretty efficient. And look at the digs, 49 to 41. I mean, it was evident in some of the rallies that we saw here tonight.
And the length of the match. I mean, we don't see those numbers there, but this was a very long match, and both teams just battling to the very end.
Yeah, it felt like a national championship match. All right, this one's POW. All the games are POW in the Big West. Let's look at the standings, and look at that. That's why this match was so big for Hawaii. They leapfrog UC Santa Barbara now and find themselves sitting in second place, which would mean if they can stay there through next weekend, they would have a bye on the opening night of the Big West Conference Tournament. So what does Hawaii have left? Well, they have a pair on the road at UC Irvine on Friday and Saturday, and then they'll get a little time off before the Big West Tournament. If you're wondering about UC Santa Barbara, I went online and looked. They have one more conference match remaining against UC San Diego, who beat Long Beach State tonight. So, kind of interesting. But if you're Hawaii, you control your own destiny. You win those 2 next week, you know you're at least assured of being on the opposite bracket of Long Beach State, and you don't have to play 3 matches to win the championship. I think that's the key.
But it could very well be that Santa Barbara will be the other team on that side of the bracket.
Oh, yeah.
So what we just saw tonight, we could see again in a few weeks right back here. And that's why this match was very big for Hawaii. And also, I think just the fact that they went to 5 and they were able to win in 5 does a lot just with overall game experience. We've seen at times, again, this is the Hawaii team that has just turned it on and then sort of sputtered out towards the end of the sets. In set 5, of course, you only played 15, and so they could not afford to wait to kind of make their mark. And I think this overall will just bode well for the team, not only for the resume, but experience.
Well, pushing the team this far truly allows them to become better. This makes Hawaii better. They start believing in themselves. They have more confidence. They know who to go to in clutch times. And I'll tell you, Santa Barbara really put the pressure on Hawaii. Hawaii had to earn this tonight.
Yeah, no question. I was going to say, you talk about it made Hawaii better. It probably made UCSB better as well, because they came out firing. That was a much different team than what we saw just last night.
Oh, much different team. John was unstoppable. He was in the UC State. He could do no wrong. Every ball that he touched turned into something, whether it's from the service line or in the front court, pounding away.
And I think one of the great things from Hawaii is we saw a lot of diversity. We saw Guillermo Voss have a career night with 12 kills, hitting for a high percentage. He was very active. He may not have the lofty numbers for block purposes, but he did a nice job of just slowing down a lot of the attackers for Santa Barbara that allowed Hawaii to run a transition play behind that. And so with Voss's involvement in the middle, that really just freed up the pins, and the pins again delivered with, again, Muklios with 17 kills and Hakas also with 17 kills.
Yeah, especially Hakas, he really turned it up towards the end, right? I mean, he and Muklios had the same amount of kills, but his kills came really in crunch time.
He's just been so critical in these last few matches. I mean, he's gained his confidence, but he's hitting the ball with a huge velocity out of the backcourt, out of the front court, and from the service line. And he's playing with a lot of, I don't know the right adjective for it, but he has passion right now.
And I think, this is a rivalry between these two teams, and it's more than just what we're used to seeing with the Long Beach State-Hawaii rivalry. This is more of a rivalry between the players, and Santa Barbara has a reputation of being a little bit chirpy through the net. A lot of the teams in the conference recognize that they have some players and individuals on the team that like to talk and make things exciting, and so I think that actually fires up the Hawaii players. We saw a lot of that through the net, a lot of stare downs after that. I think only just motivated the team even more.
I love that. I mean, that's competition, man. Go for it. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked you last night. For the third straight match, Philip Hoomer had to come in and spell Chaz Galloway. Do you think it's time now where Charlie has to seriously consider using that bigger outside on the left?
Well, I think they were having a really difficult time slowing down UCSB's right side player, obviously, and also Chaz Galloway was struggling a little offensively. So I think that they just needed a little bit more height off the block, and Humler has been doing a nice job when he does get the opportunity, and there you have it.
I'm not sure what happens. I mean, I still think Chaz Galloway will be the starter going in to the road trip. I think one of the things that Huma provides is the option and depth to be inserted in different places. Again, we saw him play on the right last week against Long Beach, and we saw him, of course, play this weekend on the left. And so, it's really presents some options for Charlie Wade, some good options. And I think maybe at times Huma may actually play better coming off the bench. I mean,
some guys are like that. You're right. Yep.
So, I think right now, it's working for Hawaii. It puts a lot more pressure on Galloway, though, because he cannot afford to have a slow start because he knows that the hook is pretty fast here.
All right, when we're back here on April 21st, because we're going to have the entire Big West Conference tournament, not just the Hawaii games, every game in the tournament on Spectrum Sports. Where will Hawaii be sitting? What do you think?
Where will they be sitting? Are you asking us to project where they're going to?
I'm actually to predict.
Predict?
Yeah.
Predict where they're going to be sitting.
Will Hawaii be the 2 seed?
I think they will be the 2 seed if they can get it done, even if they split. But I think they'll be number 2 going in, which will, again, give them that bye. But crazier things have happened in this conference, so it's hard to make any sort of accurate prediction.
I agree. I mean, I think, don't you think this year's been the crazy? I mean, the Big West hasn't been on that long, but I mean, there are so many teams that are so good in this league this year. It wouldn't surprise me if anybody won the tournament.
Well, exactly. I mean, CSUN could come out of the 1-6 record that they're holding right now and win it. You just never know. But that's why I'm just not going to answer that question.
But I think that's where, if you have to give any team the advantage, that's where it comes to Hawaii, because they are playing here at home and they're going to be playing in front of the home fans. And again, those tickets go on sale Monday, folks. Get online and make sure you buy those tickets, because Hawaii will need every fan and every opportunity to make as much noise as possible.
And I believe baseball's on the road that weekend, so you won't have to worry about fighting for parking like a lot of folks had to do tonight. Also a reminder, Lisa and I will be at the beach courts tomorrow on campus. Beach volleyball, Hawaii taking on Grand Canyon, a battle of 2 top 10 programs. 5 o'clock is first serve. Ryan will be emceeing the men's volleyball banquet somewhere on the island. That's all we know.
Somewhere on the island. I don't know where or what I'm doing or where I'm going. I got to go talk to Charlie after this to figure out the details.
He'll be there.
Yeah.
Hey, good fun season, guys. We'll do it again in the postseason, all right?
Yeah, looking forward to it.
All right, thank you, everybody, for joining us. A special thanks, as always, to our terrific, outstanding, and multi-award-winning Spectrum Sports crew. For my broadcast partners, Ryan and Lisa, I'm Scott. Until next time, bidi aloha, and a good evening from Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center in Manoa.